Does the black moon howl?
Only for those with an unwavering desire to hear the truth.
Access granted.
You have been selected for an opportunity, an orientation as a trusted associate, if you will, into the secured, contained, and protected files of the Foundation. SCP Unredacted distributes new files for review Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern on secure channels on YouTube, Spotify, and scp-unredacted.captivate.fm.
Hey there, SCP fans. My name is Grigori Karpin, and this is Simply Creative People, the show about SCP creatives, be they authors, artists, or off-site content creators like YouTube and TikTok. We're focused on bridging the gap between various fans and serving as an introduction to different concepts and stories on the Wiki. So, many welcomes to all, and let's get started. Hello, welcome back to Simply Creative People. My name is Grigori Karpin, and joined as always by my co-host...
I'm Harry like the blank.
And special guest, Raddagher. Hello.
It's me, Radd. Hi.
Raddagher.
That's me.
We've been wanting to have you on for a while now.
The whole time.
Basically. Anytime chatting with you is pretty good, yeah.
Yep.
I am a busy woman, but I finally found the time.
We're glad to have you. But just in case, I doubt anyone that listens to us doesn't know, but just in case, where might people have heard of you other than your SCPs? You also are known for podcasting as well.
Yeah, I run a fiction podcast called Find Us Alive. It's an original SCP story, so it's not like reading podcasts where they read the articles. It's like a fully new story. And it just recently, like this past week, hit 1 million plays.
Yes.
So
Congratulations.
Yeah, I saw that.
Celebrations all around.
For any of our listeners, if you haven't listened to Find Us Alive, I'm a huge fan, and you should really listen to it. It's really, really great.
It's such a happy and good time, and everyone is doing all right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, there's no drama.
People in a good situation.
Yeah.
I do like how
Real slice of life material.
it really speaks to me that you are able to balance this sense of melancholy and also just absurd humor. It's like exactly suited for my temperament.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And thank you. A second show coming up in almost exactly 1 year. I think I can't remember if it's airing in early September or late August. I think it's late August. But Hymns for the Road was funded on Kickstarter last fall. And we're right in the middle we're neck deep in production right now.
I backed that.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait.
That was a long fucking time ago.
You didn't tell me I would have. You didn't tell me, Grigori. I should have told you.
I'm sorry, there's a thing called social media.
You are my thing called social media.
That's all I talked about for like 2 months.
Yeah.
But listen, it's fine, because it successfully got funded. Now we're going to make it. It's going to be really good.
Yeah, you should do like once it's ready, if you want to do like a promo or something, we can include it like on the front end of the show, get more exposure.
Oh, we're going to be doing so much promo.
I'm sure.
We're going to try doing like physical print.
Oh.
Like talking to magazines in my city and stuff.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
We got big plans for this one.
So, you had the great idea of talking about Ambrose Restaurants, which is a GOI we hadn't done yet. But before we get into that, we'd like to do a creative corner, kind of because we have so many creatives on the show and discussing how we are creative and whatnot, and behind the scenes discussions. I've talked to a lot of people that like listening to that part of the show because they get kind of insight into it. And so I thought, you write and produce yourself, right? I mean, mostly it's you, correct? For Find Us Alive?
Yeah, like everything except for the voice acting and some of the admin stuff.
Right. And you've got a great cast.
I do. They're wonderful.
But that sounds...
I'm a big fan of Officer Raddagher's got a really good
Yeah.
I hate that bitch, actually.
I imagine...
What a talentless hack!
I imagine keeping that monotone tone all the time gets a little bit annoying on retakes.
Well, I mean, it is like an aggregate total of 8 lines maximum per episode.
Sure.
So I don't actually have to record that much.
You're kind of an expert at the dry delivery anyway. That's why I always enjoy the YouTube videos where
Thanks. It's the autism.
well, you weaponize it to fantastic effect. And that's what we should all endeavor to do with.
Yeah,
others,
I weaponize
levels of the
my
spectrum.
anxieties and insecurities for creative stuff all the time.
Yeah, I wouldn't get shit done without OCD.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why we're all here.
But you
Yay.
also not only writing and directing, but you also edit and schedule everything, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what goes into that? I mean, that's crazy. That's like, I assume no one's in the same room, so you're getting individual recordings, right? And putting them together?
Yeah, so both shows are currently in the same Discord server. I might remake like a more professional Discord server at some point, but they're sort of separated. But that's where we do all of our communication, and the schedule works really different for both shows because one is like 1 episode per month, and the other one is like finish 30 of these by this time.
Right.
Ready, set, go. But it's usually like a weekly check-in kind of thing, see how people are feeling about their stuff and where they are and when they're going to get things in, and then kind of just working around when people get stuff done.
Nice. And I mean, you've had the same cast for a while now, right? Since like episode 11 or so?
Yeah. So that was... When did we get Logan on? I think it was like January or February that Logan got cast in, oh my god, what year was that? Was that 2020?
What year is it now?
God, right?
Anybody?
I think that was late 2020
That
that we
makes
cast
sense.
Logan. So yeah. Same bunch of folks for a long time.
And what episode are you on now?
We are currently producing 45.
Ugh, that's awesome.
44 just went up, like, last week? No,
That's-
the week before.
That's awesome. I'm a little behind, but
You're getting to television syndication numbers by now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really cool that you managed to produce this and write a new script and everything, and you get it out regularly.
I'm really, really committed to that. That's one of the
good
most
thing.
important things that I factored in when I was like, when we were first starting, was that like, we're doing once a month so that we'll never be late.
That makes
barring
sense.
like extenuating circumstances. Like one of our actors got COVID once, and like obviously we're gonna
Right.
put things on hold for stuff like that, but like, people are paying for this. I want them to get their product.
It's a good
Yeah.
way to be.
Yeah, I wish we did that. But we definitely get out one on average every couple of weeks, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're big on
You guys
fun
are kind of the only like ones of your type, huh? Because not a whole lot of people talk about like the meta stuff.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody.
We're
I-
also one of the only ones of the SCP podcast
That have continued,
don't
yeah.
immediately collapse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's all
Yeah.
the glory.
It's just you and us. Yeah, the thing that I liked when I first started out was, I think it was the SCP Cafe. That I think it was Blue Soul or somebody. I can't remember who did that.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I listened to that for a long time.
Yeah, and I thought that was really
That was
cool.
fun.
And then, he had to stop or whatever. And, a couple years passed, and I just kind of thought it'd be really great to not talk about new stuff, but just to talk about, I thought so much of the offsite content is there to entertain in that vein and that medium
Yeah.
only. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, whether it's your podcast or the YouTube videos that people do where they're doing readings. But I thought it would be cool, because we're authors, to have and to convince authors to come on, that the whole point of the show is to like sell the concept and to act as like a curation service, while also talking about why we think these things are cool or interesting or whatever.
Yeah.
And at least that gives us something to talk about, because reading stuff, I've never been great at that. I mean, I don't, and I wouldn't want to go back and do multiple takes. I just want to have a conversation.
That is like a serious skill set.
Yeah.
To read like extended stuff like that. That is not easy to do.
No, I started
It's getting harder for
6500.
everybody.
I did the very beginning of 6500 just to like test out my new recording equipment, and people were like, "When's the rest of it?" And I'm like, "It's 96,000 words. I don't
Like,
know.
Here's the link if you want the rest of it.
Read my thing, God damn it. No.
Go read it yourself. man.
Anyway, all right. So we are here to talk about Ambrose.
For some reason.
Yeah.
The restaurants.
So I thought I'd read some of the really basic stuff from the hub, but basically, you know what this is. This is an anomalous restaurant.
End.
Yeah, I mean,
It is what it says on the tin. Kinda, yeah.
For
Oh, yeah.
for one of the few GOIs where it's like, oh, I get what that is. And I think at first it was very much playing on the whole like, oh, what's the gimmick? And the early GOI formats were menus and then reviews of the restaurant for different instances of the restaurant showing up. But it kind of evolved over time. Is a lot more interesting now, I would say. But yeah, Ambrose Restaurants is a large-scale chain of fine dining eateries located in various public locations across the earth, with several locations in anomalous or extra-dimensional locations of interest. Specialized in anomalous food and culinary practices, generally non-hostile, except for this first article we're going to read, and will instead flee from threats directed toward them. Ambrose Restaurants is currently believed to be jointly owned by Chaz Ambrose and Marius, but due to lack of public appearances, this is unconfirmed. And then that's just from like the GOI hub, which is kind of like flavorless, but from the hub of the what? Oh yeah. Didn't even fucking mean to.
I should hope not.
That's your thing.
I hate to think if that was you steal my thunder, my very faint tinfoil thunder.
Tinfoil thunder. The Ambrose Restaurant is a chain restaurant found almost in every extra-dimensional port of call, with the bustle and reign of three Portlands to the high-tech high streets of Eurotech. We have locations around the world, though they are a little more difficult to find. Our ethos is to provide a remarkable culinary experience for a very reasonable price, all without compromising on taste, texture, or customer satisfaction. I don't know why that gave you the willies. You can be sure that you will receive the best possible dishes when you arrive at our restaurant, and the strange and peculiar will be present at every bite, sip, or slurp.
Slurp. That's one of those.
That's my favorite ways to eat things.
I love slurping things. We here at Ambrose use all sorts of experimental techniques. Oh God. All sorts of experimental techniques, ingredients, and tools to ensure your dining experience will be unlike any other. My favorite part about this on the hub is how it just seems like the selling points of almost any restaurant that has its own website.
Our food.
Yeah, it's good. You should come here. I do like the fact that
Doesn't suck at all.
the MTF that was originally assigned in the original article and later ones was the 1-star reviewers. That's pretty good. I never really get tired of that joke.
MTF jokes.
Yeah, the MTF.
There's a really good. In one of these articles, there's a super good MTF title that I can't wait to get to.
Probably no.
Oh yeah, I think I called that out too.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, MTF jokes, the names, they like always, whether or not they're jokes or not,
Always
like
names.
I'm always just like, that's clever.
Yep.
Like just a little bit delighted by them all.
Yeah,
every time.
I like that. Like so many of the silly tropes we've kind of walked away from, like telekill alloy and stupid shit like that. But that trope, just no, we're gonna keep that one forever. Fuck off.
Like they're allowed to be punny. It's fun.
It's fine. They're gonna die by some horrible murder monster. They should be allowed to have a joke.
A part of our heritage.
So yeah, what did my top level view of this GOI was, I really hadn't read that many of them other than the ones that were done for CanRenCon and one of Stormbreath's later on ones. But like I was not remarkably surprised by these. I mean, they're really fun and good, but they really are kind of what's on the tin.
Yeah, I enjoy them because like the earlier ones that are just like the menu and then the reviews. It's just a fun format to like kind of present a snippet of a tiny little idea without like developing it too much. And I don't know, man, sometimes I just want to read a list of here's a cool thing, here's another cool thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, neat, wow, a thing.
OCD understands that one.
Yeah.
I like it because they're regularly clever, even though it's not a deep character-driven narrative piece or whatever. You got to look at each one of these little bullet points and go, okay, where's the weird? That's funny.
The weird thing.
Yeah. And I
also,
like
a lot of them made me actually hungry while I was rereading all of these.
Yeah. No, some of them are really well described.
Menus can do that. The review ones almost never do that. But the menus can make you hungry.
I like the review format because it reminds me of Wilson's a lot.
Yeah.
I like the idea of hearing from everyday people in this anomalous world and just having them complain about service or something. It's just it's just not, there's really no other context where that makes sense on the site. And it warms my heart.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. But why don't we just jump in here? Harry, you picked...
Dig in.
Yeah, that's right. Oh God. Jesus Christ. You picked this first article, which is
the
also
here.
the first article ever.
I think this is the first Ambrose article, which is why I picked.
So it was Dining Out by Prozac.
Yes, so this is
sell
Prozac, Baby GOI. Sell it. This is sell it. Ooh. This is your standard early GOI article where it doesn't quite match with what happens later, but it vaguely introduces the idea that gets picked up. So there's an Ambrose restaurant, some were they UIU agents? I can't remember. I think they might be Foundation agents.
No, they're Foundation agents. Yeah.
No, they're Foundation. Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense because this is in 3 Portlands, but whatever. And they're heading in to investigate the Ambrose Restaurant, which turns out they've actually got a chain, and they're going to investigate the rest of them because it goes horribly wrong and multiple agents get killed in gory ways, which is not really how most of the Ambrose formats go.
Yeah, it's a little bit out of character for this.
The trope is early installment weirdness. It's like, oh, that's not
Still
right.
finding its feet.
Yep.
I did enjoy how the first one died, though.
Just the writing on how they die is particularly good. It's just suddenly dead.
Suddenly dead because you ate the tomatoes that throw themselves at people that say bad jokes at 100 miles an hour while it was in his mouth. So his head exploded. I was like, oh no.
Summarily murdered by his meal.
That was a pretty good line, actually.
That line is the article for me. And plus the fact that it introduces the GOI. Now, Prozac wrote some more stuff on it, and I believe was planning on writing some more stuff later. But it mostly got picked up by other people as time went on. Although this is only in 2018, this is one of the newer GOIs we're looking at, which is funny because this one feels like it's been around forever somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I opened up the history tab to see when it came around,
what?
and I'm surprised it was not older.
Especially because every SCP that's referenced at the end, they find all these evidence. I mean, also this doesn't fit the setting of Ambrose because it really just is a bunch of cooking where they use actual SCP, like enumerated SCPs in the food.
Right.
Whereas later on, that's not at all what's happening. It's their own kind of weirdness. But they find these instances.
There was a bit where they referenced the bonbons, and I was like, what the fuck are they cooking with the bonbons?
Right, exactly. Yeah, they just I like how he just listed out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SCPs, and then also blacked out one for some reason. And so it really feels like just one of them. It really does feel like from that time period too. The tale is, it's pretty short. It gets right into the meat of it. It's not bad by any means, but
but it does look like a Series 1 GOI introduction tale, and it's not, which is interesting. The Sigma theme goes a long way towards that, but still
true. Also, there's nothing kind of jazzing up the page, so
yeah, that's true. It's the narrative and nothing else, which is not usually how we do things now. But it does introduce the GOI, and it's significantly different from everything else. That I think it's kind of funny to look at it as the first thing because it's so completely unrelated to what happens next.
Yeah, I like how, I mean, we've talked about it before, how these things evolve on the wiki. And you can never, the best part about it, and sometimes the worst part about it, is that you're putting something out there for everyone to play with. Like when Captain Kirby was on, we were talking about you're putting the toys in the toy box, and everybody can take a turn if they want. And maybe the way you wanted, yeah. And luckily they went a different direction than the original, because this wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes.
And ProSec also went in a different direction.
Yeah.
Some other articles, but yeah. You got the idea, you put it out there, and you see if other people have a similar idea, or if you see if they have something else they can do with your idea.
Throwing spaghetti at the wall, if you will.
Oh, look at that.
But
she joined me on the dark side.
What was that?
Fucking soundboard. I did.
Oh my god, it was so quiet. It sounded like you tapping your fingers on something.
Oh, did it only come through for me?
No, I heard it.
Oh, okay.
I heard it. It was just very quiet, so I thought you were clicking your keyboard.
That's funny.
Wait.
Boring. Him. Yeah.
We are the token cis-hets of the SCP.
I know.
We filled our maximum quota.
There should only be 2, and it should be us. So that's simple.
Yeah, I think that you should have to fight, and there should only be
podcast.
one.
Right.
Well, we're basically
We're
the same.
You're both podcasters.
I was about to say,
You're like
the
a parody of
vast
yourselves.
majority of the podcasters are the white cis-het dudes in SCP. It's really weird.
Hey, I'm a Jew. Calm down.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. You're right. It's fair. It's just generally that white cis-het men feel the need to talk and be heard more often, like their opinions are worth more.
God.
Did you ever see that commercial comedy sketch thing that was the toy microphone that doesn't actually plug into anything?
Yes.
You can get for your boyfriend.
Yes.
Such a good band.
I saw one of the many, ridiculous TikToks, but one guy screaming into the microphone on his podcast and then switching to a DJ singing a song about, another white boy with the podcast. It was just perfect. Made me laugh. All right, let's get back to it.
Pretty much
I
everybody.
completely forgot about the soundboard. I wish I had Nitro so bad. There's some good shit in here from other servers I'm in. Oh,
I'm sure.
Yeah, I've got all kinds of weird shit in here too, but I never use it. Because I'm boring.
Let's transition from Harry just sadly saying, I'm boring.
Yeah, we're going to talk about fucking Ambrose.
We're SCP people. Of course we're fucking boring.
I know, seriously. But yeah.
This is the only thing we've got going on.
We're creatives. God damn it.
God damn it, we're creative. Everybody else we are.
We're artists, you guys. We're making high art.
Yeah.
We're doing important work.
Here's a transition. Speaking of high art, Ambrose. Yeah, all right. So one of the ones you picked, Radd, was Ambrose Vienna.
Wait, I want to say some stuff about this one first, because I'm not going to lie. I did not like the way the combat was written.
Oh!
I thought it
okay.
very well. That's my hot take.
No, I don't think they were. No.
You didn't like the way the what was what?
The combat was written.
I don't like the fight sequences.
In Dining Out.
Yeah, in Dining Out.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Ambrose Vienna. I was like, what the fuck are you on?
Oh yeah,
the combat sequences.
The part where they fights the waiter. Yeah. No, in Dining Out. There were just there were a lot of moments in here that got lost in.
Yeah. There's
shit that weren't lingered on enough.
I think it could very much use a pass-through for clarity, but also I don't think I don't want to be negative, but there's not really a lot going on here, so maybe don't worry about it. Look at it as an interesting historical artifact, and then whatever.
I will forgive it because it does do my absolute favorite thing, which is when a character says SCP out loud and they spell it phonetically. That is I fucking love when people do that.
I'm very SCP myself. I'm SCP all the time.
I've specifically avoided, in all of the hundreds of lines of dialogue that I've written, avoided anyone actually saying the acronym. Just not gonna do it.
In my podcast, I have to write out the numbers in text because they keep reading it in the wrong order.
Oh, that's funny.
5 years after the fact.
That's really funny.
PCS. I'm not surprised to hear you criticizing the combat because, of course, you've written postmen having a warehouse combat.
God, I love that
So
article.
obviously, you know all about the kind
I need to.
staging.
Don't tell people about that article. I haven't fixed it yet.
It's
so
needs
ugly
fixing?
right now.
I think didn't we cover it on the podcast? Or am I crazy?
Oh, we did. For
Yeah.
sure.
Did you?
I think so.
Yeah.
I hate the way the text messages look. It needs some format tweaking because I really do think that it's ugly as hell.
Oh, well,
That's fair. I mean,
But-
the author's always
on
going
the
to
inside,
find something
it's
wrong.
Beautiful Swan.
Yeah, it makes me pretty happy, especially because I feel like in a lot of articles that you've done, it's not really action focused. And when I saw that one go into like the action, like really hardcore, like it's so smoothly done. Like I can totally see it all played out.
I'm glad you liked it because it was so hard.
I'm sure action is hard to write.
Fighting is hard.
It's
It is.
super friggin' funny. And friggin' the hell? I think I just.
It's
What decade
it's
is
real. It's heckin' silly.
it? It's super fucking rad.
Oh my god, that's me.
Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
too much information.
But yeah,
Awkward
I
Wait,
don't even
I'm
understand.
sorry. I was like typing something into my URL and I completely missed what you said.
Yeah, I didn't really get it either.
You can hear it on the playback.
He's not gonna repeat it. Okay. So
I'm
Ambrose
gonna have to break
Vienna.
into your house. Ambrose Vienna is one of my two favorites in the whole lineup here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, can
it's
I
it's
preface this one a little bit?
spectacular. Yeah, you can. I mean,
Radd
Radd picked it, but
also I picked it before Radd picked it, and then Radd picked
It's
it.
true.
And I had to find another one.
Oh, you did?
yeah,
Oh, was it like when we were talking about it like
Yeah.
forever ago?
yeah, forever
Oh,
ago,
I
last
totally
week.
missed
This has
that.
been a long time in progress.
Oh,
because,
I've been doing so much shit, you
Radd's
guys.
been
No,
doing
no,
so
it's
much stuff,
fine.
and
Don't
we've
worry
been
about
not doing- So between that and that, just this one was during CanRenCon, and I distinctly recall it coming into existence because Crock-and-Boosh thought the Ambrose format that existed with the menus kind of sucked.
Yeah.
That was the reason this was
Yeah,
written,
that's
was
correct.
it's one that doesn't suck. But,
This-
yeah, but having said that, like the menus did sort of suck in my opinion. They were pretty boring in a lot of cases.
They were boring. Absolutely.
And
It's
this
just
is
a
the
menu.
review format, which was
They were
introduced.
just such a study in how to create the worst gradient. And honestly, I am really charmed by it.
Yeah, the really ugly CSS has got a bit of charm to it, I suppose.
Yeah, I do kind of like it. I think it's kind of
The
fun.
90s web.
It still looks
Yeah.
better. It still looks better than the MCD GOI format. That's all.
God, those are the ugliest goddamn
Yeah.
The worst
Purple and gray
the
and
worst use of tables
cream.
and- oh.
Ugh. Anyway, all right.
And
But
Herman Fuller. Anyway, go on.
no, we don't speak that name on this podcast.
Ooh, is there tea?
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
Is
There-
Herman
there's no
Fuller
tea,
a
but
person?
There's no tea because there's no clown milk. That's
I did notice that
You guys
being.
does not like that they're ugly?
I just don't care for clowns. Like, I don't think they're freaky or anything. I just don't understand the fascination at all.
That's
Grigori
fair.
has beef with clowns and cannibalism.
For very different reasons.
What about clownablism?
I was saying,
Well, that's
we
fine.
didn't get a clownablism article in here.
There's clown milk on one of these menus. I called it out. Don't worry. We'll get to
Yeah,
it.
I remember that.
Anyway, all right. So, set this one up. Why was this one different from the old menu formats, which we haven't talked about yet?
Because it's a review. Radd picked this. Radd talk. Your voice is better than mine.
Hang on.
Now if you just go,
Sorry. What was the question?
You're supposed to preface the article because you picked it.
Yeah.
No, I picked it.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know a whole lot about the history of the article. I don't.
No, you
know
don't have to
if
worry about that.
It has very little history.
Yeah, no, you don't have
Yeah,
to.
well,
Harry does
It's
that.
3 years old.
Oh,
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I didn't start reading all of the Ambrose things until like 2021. So I was late. But, I mean, if there's two things that I love, it's stuff that is abstract enough to be weird and fun, but still literal enough for me to not get lost, and religious shit.
And this hits
And I
both of
think-
those.
Oh yeah, like really, really well. I think the way that it portrays being high is like just really good. I mean, I've never done like psychedelics or hallucinogens or anything. The most I've ever done is like edibles.
They don't.
But like
They don't work. They don't work like this. So sorry to break it to you.
Maybe not the weed that you've had.
I'm actually lower on that scale than you are. I have done alcohol.
Done alcohol? I've done alcohol.
I've done alcohol.
God, I just gotta snort a light of this booze.
I'm sorry, is that meant to
Where you're blowing into your beer bottle like it's a bong.
That's right. There
were some like just snippets in here where he described stuff, and I was like, that is kind of what it feels like when you get to the point of being high, where you're like a little bit delusional.
Yeah. No, yeah, there's definitely parts where Eden, who's the author of the blog In Universe, is describing things that's happening to them where it's like, what is, like, it's not even the delusionary stuff where Eden is like thinking that they're on a beach and like slowly going into the water till they're like almost drowning while also trying to eat pasta and failing, by the way. And it's exactly it like spoke to my nightmare anytime I've been high about being in public. Like, is it obvious to everyone around me? Because there's no way that it didn't like, the character was in a room by themselves, but you know, if that had been in a real restaurant, that would have been a sight to see.
Yeah. I mean, what a blessing to be by yourself when you do that. Not that this is real, but you know. Just
in general, just to be by yourself sounds great.
Just all the time, yeah.
I really liked the way she, the author in the fiction, described like being able to see the room after the high wore off, and like recollecting all of the stuff that she like thought was going on, and was like, oh, it wasn't full of tubes, it was just like a mirror, and I was seeing like the line between the mirror, like the wall and the floor.
Right. And there it's on a grate, the dining room is on a grate over other mirrors, so that's why she thought I'm floating. There's part of me that like wants to say like, was any of this anomalous, which is, you know, interesting. Except for at some point it becomes pretty clear that like maybe the waiter didn't exist. Maybe the restaurant was just speaking to her through some sort of avatar or something. I like that part a lot.
Yeah, there's the implication that there's no staff at all because dead flies in the window.
Right.
I love the reveal that the pasta was just like a microwave thing.
Yeah.
that fucking ruled. And all the foreshadowing before she even got to the restaurant, of like not being able to find a church and not being able to find a place to pray.
Right.
Oh, right,
and,
because
like,
this is
little hints.
So for context, this is in Rat's Nest, and Rat's Nest is sort of a weird hodgepodge canon where like anything can go basically, and the world is kind of gone fully anomalous and et cetera, et cetera. And in this reading, we are basically through implication. The world has been unified under one religion of some sort. Because Eden's last name is Brumaro, it's possible it's Mecane, but it's really not ever clearly stated. But everyone is religious, or at least acknowledgement of, like, at one point the waiter goes, okay, there's 3 people in this room. And Eden goes, you, me, and God, right? Like, just this very normal... Because it's not that she's some zealot, but
yeah, it's just like
it's just a normal part of the society that everyone's just like, yeah, God's here. I like that this all has an impact on her too. That not maybe it's kind of depressing for a person of faith to lose their sense of whatever, but I really liked that you couldn't possibly have had this experience and not come away changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Because while she's being led through the restaurant and then sat down in front of Arabiata, I think is how you say that. and trying to eat, sort of, but putting her whole hand through the plate and then getting some of it on her face, or she also is like imagining she's walking on a beach by herself and is slowly sinking into the water until that delusion fades. And then coming away from it with a sense of, I don't know, like smallness, an epiphany, like the opposite of what you would expect a religious epiphany to be. It was an atheistic epiphany.
And it was just really well, like, written, because it felt enormous.
It is very well written.
And I loved that.
And then more to the point of what Harry was saying earlier about Croquembouche wanting to do something prettier. This is a great looking article.
It's beautiful.
The CSS was introduced specifically for this article.
I know Croquembouche is pretty talented at CSS, right?
Croc is really good at CSS.
Done a lot of like pretty impressive. I believe also helped with the Rat's Nest theme as well. Famine.
And I think the probably also the book plugin that
I think you're right.
Famine Pulse's Worry that makes it look like you're reading a book, which is also phenomenal looking stuff.
God, I love that. That article is amazing. Anyway,
and that's also for this contest for their team. Those 2 articles were really good. The other 2 were okay.
I really like the fact that Rat's Nest is something where you could write 2 articles that are so remarkably diametrically opposed, both in style and in content, but it could still work for Rat's Nest, because who the fuck knows what Rat's Nest is?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Famine is just like, I don't know. Famine created it. It's like, whatever.
I read like 4 or 5 of those ones and was like, I don't know what's going on, so I'm just gonna like drift down the river.
Yeah.
Like I don't know too.
I read those Kentucky the series of tales, and those were hard to. It's like, what's happening? But yeah, this is a great looking.
Confusing.
Yeah, right. And this started a whole like new trend. It didn't last that long, but there's a whole trend of doing articles in Ambrose GOI that's not from Ambrose's point of view, but instead this review from this online magazine called Walden Studio. And I mean, I think we have 2 others on this list that are the same thing. And it's a perfect way to make up for some of the drawbacks of doing the old GOI fan art, which, like we talked about earlier, I do like, but this offers a lot more chances for narrative.
I don't really know why this wasn't the go-to to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I enjoy the menu format, but I feel like, I love storytelling in like a weird kind of unusual format, but I feel like that format specifically only has so far it can go before it starts getting really samey.
Right, and they do. A lot of their menu ones.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I get it.
This one too, though. This one too.
There are a couple in this format that are pretty much this article again.
Yeah. But I do think that it was a great sea change to it, and it certainly invigorated people to write for the GOI again, which was the whole goddamn point of Canon Rencon. Only it was for the canon, but whatever. Afterwards, people were like, "Oh, I want to do one of those," which is cool.
This isn't even the only time people have tried to renew interest in Ambrose. We'll get to another one later.
Right? Yeah.
It just doesn't work. People don't seem to want their interest renewed, but it's produced some good work.
I think mostly because no one has ever tried to write something that isn't just, like we said, like right on the 10. Like, and I'm not even complaining. I really enjoy these articles, solo. But there isn't a lot of, not that I want the deep lore about Chaz Ambrose, but there isn't really much going on that I want to dig into.
Not a lot of meat to it.
Yeah. Anyway, the next one, I love how I did this completely out of order. The next one is one of those GOI formats that we were just talking about, which is the menu.
The shit out of it, here it is.
Well, I didn't. Many meats. So I know you listen. I love you. Harry's a jerk. Grigori is great.
I've loved everything I've written by Many Meats, and also
everything you've written by Many Meats?
Did I say written?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to admit to having 2 admins on it. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so this is one of the older GOI formats, and the way that these were set up was sort of a very simple menu. This one's like a 3-course sampler, which is like a prefix menu, where you pick one item out of 2 or 3 or 4 for each of the courses. And
okay, wait a minute. Wait just a goddamn minute.
Yes.
I read this.
Good. I'm so glad.
No, I mean, I read this like a couple hours ago.
Uh-huh.
I like one of the reviews was by me a couple of hours ago.
Oh
And
yes,
it's
there's one that's
not-
doing the Wikidot thing.
Oh, yeah.
I see it too.
What's-
There's one by @HarryBlank.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're
But
not.
why do
crazy.
I only have 3 now?
3 what?
Are
There
you,
were 4 the last time I read it. Now there's only 3.
Are you looking at it on a different device than you were before?
No.
I see 4.
I see 4 as well. Do you not see one from yourself?
No, it's just missing. Hang on.
This version of
plugged
you
in?
didn't code Ambrose.
Fucking, we're in the multiverse now.
I didn't even notice that. Yeah, it uses the wiki.poll user code thing to put one of the reviews from you.
Okay, I'm logging in to see if it actually puts it up.
You know
there.
what? I don't
Okay,
think I
now
saw
the
that
fourth
one
one.
with
Now
the
the fourth
phone.
one is there because I was logged in.
Oh,
You have to be logged into Wikidot to do it. That's why I didn't see
I
it when I
was
was
like,
on
I
the phone.
was like, did you guys like delete one of the things
Yes.
to fuck with me? Like,
What an amazing...
Really mad.
That would be hilarious. And then we get like in so much trouble. Why'd you do this to this article? Because it was funny on the podcast. We put it back.
A mental note next time
Oh
we'll
my
do it for one
God.
of our own articles.
Right, exactly.
She'll have forgotten by then.
Anyway, so
God, I was tripping for a second.
I thought you were losing your shit about it being like a.
drugs all over again.
I thought you were losing your shit because it was a 3-course sampler, and I'm like, you know what that is, right?
Just
Like,
discovering,
it's not that weird.
Discovering freaks to say, and she's like, what?
You know, I also bet that the food blog thing didn't catch on earlier because I would bet that maybe that sort of thing wasn't that popular with that generation of writers that were
I
tackling
was
it.
going to say it's so much less politely. I was going to say that
What?
Ambrose stuff in general has never been like written well, like because none of these nerds know anything about food.
Well, that could be
Yeah.
true. I don't know.
Yeah.
They describe the food pretty well,
They do.
which tells me that they could just be copying it, but this most of this sounds pretty tasty. Anyway, so it's just
Or weird.
You've got 2 or 3 choices for the first course, for the main course, and then 2 for the dessert. And really, they're just strange. Like, for example, for the first course, we've got Just Like Mom's Duck Onigiri, flavorful rice surrounding succulent duck braised in spiced thaumaturgical wine. This dish will transport you back to your fondest childhood memories and still have you back in time for the main course, tied together with temporally anchored nori. Just, it's seaweed.
The dwarves from the Hobbit.
Or cioppino, which is our signature dish. This flavorful blend all completes a world tour in a classic Italian style, featuring Mediterranean gorgon, Cyprian eel, Trojan mussels, and giant calamari from the foot of. That's very Greek. I'm not sure.
Simple gaze.
Yeah, it's probably not that. As is our policy, if you subdue this dish, it's on the house. Of course,
I like that.
the number 2
It's
dish
funny.
freaked me out because it's veal of
Oh,
you.
this is like good Grigori one. Veal you.
Yeah, it's just a piece of you harvested 30 minutes ago. God damn it.
Consuming this dish is a net caloric 0. That is bad. That's a good line.
It was good. Or coconuts on the mind, harvested from the dreams of long dead sea dragon. These rich and creamy eggs are conceptually identical to coconut gelatin. I think geely, but I think it's meant to be gelatin. Your mouth won't be able to tell the difference.
It's French.
Geely?
Yeah. Chile.
Oh, I didn't know that.
French person's gonna come in and say I did that wrong, and they're wrong.
No, you're the one who's wrong.
You're the
They
one.
win every argument on the internet.
And then just followed up by Yelp reviews, basically. And the one that's keyed to your Wikidot account says, tried the cioppino challenge that some of the lads mentioned. Oh boy, let me tell you, those Trojan muscles are no joke. I'll have bruises for weeks.
That is a poo joke.
It's just, God.
A terrible, horrifying one at that.
I thought it was funny that the person who ate the VLU was giving themselves shit for having too high a BMI because it was too fatty. God, it's fucked up. But yeah, I mean, I can totally see why people like. I like this. I think people were like a little ridiculous about saying it sucks, but I think that I totally see what people thought about it. Like having just like, how much legs could this have? Like after you have like one or two of these articles, like it kind of, you know. Oh, got it. We get it.
Need something else there.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a very good place to like introduce someone to the concept, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because it is just like very simple, and it's just kind
quick,
of fun little like dishes. I think the reviews are a little bit lacking. I don't feel like they add a whole lot. But the menu itself, I think, is just like, I don't know, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think that
It's a good place to start. I think.
I would have if I were writing this. I think that this would be where the article starts, and then you actually tell like a story. But yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's certainly a better start than the first article we talked about, and also
a good example of a bad gradient.
Yeah. Also, like if I was to pop you down for the first time and go, oh, let me tell you about Ambrose, and give you Ambrose Vienna, I feel like most people would be like, that was like heavy.
What the fuck was that? Like
that was a lot. Like Jesus. Like
or
I remember
absence of Jesus, perhaps.
Right.
Exactly. Nicely done.
I remember this coming out though, and like people losing their minds. The one that we just talked about, Ambrose Vienna, during the CanRanCon contest.
I feel like you picked this one because it's San Francisco and from California.
No, I don't like San Francisco. I'm from Southern California. We don't like it up there.
Fucking Americans.
It's terrible. People shit on the street.
I'm from West Plebistan. We don't like East Plebistan.
It's like a totally different culture up there.
in North California.
Well, it's the
like
Bay. It's actually it's the Bay Area. It's not north.
Okay,
but... Listen, we're a very long state, and there's very, very different.
We're a very long state. I'm not going to stand for slander against homeless folks, though.
No, it's not just.
Their fault. They got
I'm sorry. It's not. It's not just homeless folks. There's a really, really. I'm not really even sure what the rules, the right law to discuss, but like basically, as long as someone isn't hurting anyone else, and they're high, they can be like naked and doing whatever, and the cops will mostly leave it. The cops suck, but the city laws are good about that. So I'm not bashing the homeless, but it does suck how often I have almost stepped in what I.
We started off talking how liberal we are, and you ended up bashing the homeless. Jesus.
I also bashed the cops in like the same breath, so.
They deserve a little bit of extra bashing. We could just do a whole podcast on fuck the police.
Yeah,
amen.
Yeah,
let's do it. I mean, that's just. Have you done Gamers Against Weed yet? Because that's just.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
That's the essentially was that.
Yeah, we had. Yeah, we did. We had Kinchan to do Gamers Against. Who else do you talk about?
That's fun.
Right. Yeah.
GW. Yeah. So we can move on. So I mean, we don't have to continue to bash on San Francisco. It's just a bunch of rich assholes.
Pretty much everybody I've ever hated is homed.
Homed?
Yeah, people who live in homes.
Yeah, I don't hate the homeless in San Francisco.
I can't believe that you hate all homeless people, Grigori.
Good God.
Vehemently, you're just saying such terrible things. I can't believe you.
I hate how tempted I am to just start describing all the volunteering I've done with them.
He just does the volunteer. That's what he calls it when he puts those spikes on the benches.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Anyway, all right.
I love possible architecture. It's really efficient and it works really well. American society's not broken. Anyway.
It really is broken, but anyway. Anyway, all right, let's move on. We can talk about horrible societies through the lens of literature
food.
And food.
I'm eating candy right now.
Good. Eat into the microphone. That's great.
Food.
So, good timing on your part, because this is one you picked. SCP-190, fresh from the
I
deep.
go for bad timer.
I know.
Oh, it's by Nick the Brick.
It is.
Yes, and I picked this one without remembering where it goes, and it turns out that, of course, it's a trigger for Grigori, because...
It's very cannibalistic by the end, yeah.
Yep. We just spoiled it, so we'll spoil the whole thing. Yeah, it's like...
Suck it up.
Like merman cannibalism.
Yeah, so it's a collection of sushi of varying types and styles. Doesn't seem to be like anything anomalous, but okay, it not only improves your mood, improves hair growth, weight loss, enhanced sexual function, moderate growth and enhancement in the mammary gland, Jesus, in biological females only. That seems very, that's very, like, gatekeeping. What if I wanted bigger mammary glands? Curing Tourette's and other speech-related disorders. That seems good. Curing, but especially curing throat-based cancers and diseases. So all throat-based diseases. So obviously it's anomalous. And it's being served at different... I don't think it's just served at Ambrose, right? No, it's served at these different restaurants.
Yeah, it's branching out. Yeah.
Right, and then it turns out that it's supplied by Ambrose. It's a good character piece, because there's a lot of good character building in there with these different emails.
It's a completely wacky thing, and it gets wackier as it goes until the finale's wacky, because the thing about Nick the Brick is his concepts are always insane. Like, completely insane. They're always totally off the damn wall.
Yeah.
Are we not spoiling this? Are we assuming that the listeners have not read it?
I think I spoiled it out loud a minute ago.
Yeah, I spoiled it. It's my fault, so it's fine. It does.
I'm trying to gauge like how much we can say without like ruining it for people, or if we can like speak openly, or if we're kind of.
I think you should speak openly. I think I spoiled it out loud, right?
Well, we said it gets cannibalistic. We didn't say the joke that's involved with cannibalistic, which is pretty good.
Well, Harry did though.
Did you?
I think I did.
Oh, all right.
Sure.
Said merman cannibalism.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you did. Yeah. So eventually they find out that the sushi is made of like dolphin and manatee, which that's more upsetting to me than people. I don't know. Like, people suck. I don't want to eat people, but. And a little bit of monkey, which is terrible. And then they like go on this raid of the supply. It's like the supply warehouse, right? Or wherever they're.
That's like a processing plant.
The way that the fact that sushi is made a processing plant, like that's not how it works. But whatever. And then it turns out that it's like just absolutely Soylent Green. It's people. Brains and all sorts of shit because they were gonna do a promotion for the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, it's a pretty good bit.
Yeah. I like how they kind of get around. I think he does name drop Disney. Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
But it felt like he wasn't gonna come out and say the Little Mermaid. It was like which is pretty good. Like, it's just there's a trident on the floor. It's like, oh no. Ariel, no.
Yeah, this is what I was probably meant to crit and completely failed to, so this is my way of making up to him.
Yeah.
That's horrible, Harry.
I am a terrible, terrible friend. I've written a lot of articles. I think he always brings a concept that under no circumstances would have crossed my mind at any point in my life.
Yeah, the concept's fantastic.
Yeah, his ideas are always like, if you shorten it down to the sentence, elevator pitch, it's just like, what? No.
From the man who brought you sentient police truck, pizza computer, and scarecrow sniper,
right?
Try merman sushi.
Exactly.
Okay, I have a dividing point, so you could edit this out if you needed to. Are we avoiding criticism and mainly going over like the virtues?
Mostly.
Nice.
But
yeah.
you can say critique if you want, as long as it's not like just this is stupid.
This is dumb and I hate it. It's a dumb, stupid article.
God, I've got to cut out so much.
Okay, got it. And continue with the editing.
Yes.
You should leave that part in.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, it didn't go bad. If it went bad, then sure.
I just like don't want to like rip into anything and
No.
then look like a total asshole because that's like not the spirit of the
Yeah,
show.
sorry. Yeah, no, that isn't really the spirit of the show. No, we're
Okay.
you know, the idea is to kind of like showcase stuff. It doesn't always have to be like the greatest. Like, you know, we were totally open about the fact that like, you know, some of these don't work that great, but like the ideas are good.
Just like not being too hard on things.
Exactly.
Are we still in the edited portion of our speech here?
That's up to you guys, I guess.
For the
I just wondered
listener,
if it was-
for the
if it was
listener,
telling me.
none of this is being edited out.
Oh no.
I'm not extending the bit anymore.
Okay, good.
I'm going into being nice.
Okay.
I'm transitioning into
Angel
the
Red.
niceness mode. I feel like I'm very slow on the uptake of like catching twists. I feel like I always I never like get it early.
Me too.
And there's like the distinct moment when I was like when all of the like effects of the sushi made sense all at once, and I was like,
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like the reveal was very well paced.
No, it was. It very much was. I feel like I'm the same. I feel like I'm going through articles pretty regularly, and it's probably just because I'm like very quickly reading them on my phone or something. And then we'll get to like somewhere, you know, usually the reveal is at the end. Not always, but and just kind of go, oh, fucked up.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So Nick the Brick writes weird shit,
Yes, it does.
which is good
I
because
think-
there's SCP.
I think I did a Nick the Brick one on my YouTube channel.
You did.
Was it? Do you remember?
You did. It's the Cupid one, isn't it?
Oh, the fucking Cupid one.
Mm-hmm.
God, the Cupid
That's-
one. It's
Yeah.
Like, where
I
the
really liked
hell?
that one.
It's insane.
Oh, that was a really good one. So if people
That's
don't
the one
know,
I kept yelling at the rubber for
That's
making
really
it
good.
hot instead of like a weird like
Yeah.
middle-aged office worker.
You get it.
so for if anybody
It's like
doesn't,
Santa Claus, but Cupid, basically.
but if anybody doesn't know that Raddagher does a series on her YouTube channel that is like pointing out when people have done bad adaptations of SCPs, and typically it's like the rubber, but there are a few other ones where they just make these insane choices, which I'm sure everybody in the community is fairly familiar with how bad they are. But it's
the YouTube thumbnails.
but with the YouTube fun, the YouTube fun thumbnails one that you made is so fucking funny. I showed that to my girlfriend, and she was like dying laughing. I love that. But in general, it's like we all know that like things like the rubber or SCP Explained or whatever do kind of a bad job at like adapting or even getting at the point of what the stories are. But when you just start like taking them apart, it's so, and you do it in a very funny way, like you do everything. So that's not surprising, but like it really starts adding up. Like, why the fuck are they even choosing these articles? Why? Like, why? If you had to change everything about it, like I like how the part where you rank them on whether or not they got rid of women.
Because it happens a lot.
Right.
I mean, the rubber primarily just like writes out all of the female characters every time.
It's, you know, why wouldn't you do that? Sure.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, like, and then people in my comment section get mad at me for pointing it out.
Why?
This would be why I don't have any rubber videos, because they just have to write out all the characters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Me too.
The
Me
first
too.
one that I did was on one of my articles where they wrote out half of the characters because they were women.
Oh, was it the
And
man
just,
bear?
like, added different. Yeah, it was the man bear.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that article.
And they just like deleted like integral parts of the plot, like because it was a woman character.
I feel like it's especially poor that they do it to like articles that have punchlines, because especially in that article, it's like all this build up to the point of realizing why this is happening and why this agent is doing this. And if they try to just make it into a murder monster, it's like, well, you've completely missed the point. It has nothing to do with why
Yeah,
we
but
wrote
if it's
this.
an actual murder monster, it's not funny.
Right.
Hey there, fans of Simply Creative People. We're still mostly unsponsored, so any financial help you can give us through Harry's or my Ko-Fi helps keep the show running. If you can't support us financially, just try to spread the word about the show. We've grown in the last year of production, but I think there's still a wide audience of SCP fans out there who would get a lot from our podcast. Finally, in every episode, we leave a link in the description to my author page and to Harry's, along with our guests. Consider clicking through and checking out our work. We've both been so pleased to see the growth of the show and hope you'll consider reading some of our stories on the Wiki. Thanks so much for all the support during this first startup year of the show. Here's to 5 more years of episodes.
Anyway,
there is good writing, though.
Yeah, and one of those is Ambrose Backdoor Soho, which is, Raddagher, you picked this one, and that's by Uranium Empire, who is remarkably talented. Yeah, so this one is one of those old-fashioned ones.
Snot green on, what color do we want to call this green?
I
Cardboard?
love Uranium Empire. One of my favorite authors. This one is like a case study in bad gradient. I love it.
I feel like
think
the
it's
font is way more of a crime than the gradient, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the color combination is pretty
Yeah,
fun.
Like a CC version of Comic Sans.
Yeah. And then there's more gradient in the reviews.
There's more gradient, and then it keeps changing. It's like an evolving gradient.
Right. This one's
We can
one
do
of the.
that with computers now.
Yeah, we sure can. What do you call it? This one is one of those GUI formats, like we talked about before. It's a menu with different ridiculous things, and then followed up by reviews. But in this one, the reviews are actually kind of telling a story. And the story,
they're really fucking funny.
they're very funny. The story that they're telling is how this opening night sort of art event that Ambrose put on just went horribly fucking wrong, but not in the typical SCP violent sort of way. It's just like there's just ghosts. There's just so many. There's ghosts on ghosts on ghosts.
First, there's just one ghost, and guys like, hey, there's a ghost, and then there's a lot of ghosts, and then there's entirely too many ghosts to be reckoned with.
And the best part,
So funny.
and that's
the beauty
because,
of it. This really does make an effort to tie into the location in a way a lot of people don't do, because this is in Backdoor Soho, and this is a commentary on Soho, famously one of the most gentrified locations on Earth. And this is about gentrification.
Because this is a Gamers Against Weed Little Misters.
It's a stealthy...
Well, I feel like they are. I would say about half the time you get a late reveal that it's a Gamers Against Weed Little Mister.
And that's the thing, is sometimes that doesn't work very well, and it works so well here.
Oh, it does. It's just exactly. Go
The
ahead.
appearance of the note at the end that makes you go, oh, it's one of these. Most of the time that does work, but not every time. It really works here.
Yeah, it was good. Especially the naming convention was like, oh God, yeah, okay. The thing I really, really liked was how exasperated the responses from Ambrose get in the responses to the menu. It's just so
It's like we've been hacked.
I just we didn't schedule a fiddler. What do you mean? I think you were talking about the cellist. Or I feel like this isn't what really happened. We'll investigate it, but you may need reimbursement. And then just followed up with we are experiencing unexpected difficulties. Thank you for your patience. It's not a fucking phone line.
Oh God.
It's really,
I
really
feel
funny.
like this page has some of the best succinct world building for the world beyond the veil, because there's so many just little things even in the menu that give you so much information in just a sentence about just something that exists in this world.
Yeah, so this is the one with the clown milk.
It
which
never
is
feels
horrible.
like you're missing something. It never feels like, oh, I don't understand what that's referring to.
Right.
It's just a little snippet of something that's the thing about where's the footnote?
The Shogoth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The footnote about the Shogoth. That's just a little piece of info about how this world works.
Yeah.
And it's
So-
just really good.
So yeah, one of the dishes is Manhattan Shogoth chowder. The squirming, fascinating meat of a Shogoth in rich tomato broth comes with seasoned crackers. Watch your meal stuff itself before your very eyes. The footnote is disclaimer: as the Shogoth our meat is sourced from remains alive, this meal is in violation of the 7th Noahide law. The what?
And it's just so good.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
I especially like it because that was a detail we didn't even need, but it just adds so much. Like, it already was pretty, like, chuckly. You know, it's a funny line. And then, oh, by the way, we just cut this off of a living Shoggoth. And also, yeah, that's totally illegal by this made-up law. It's so good.
Yeah. I also love the employment of, like, the House of Leaves thing with the word cheese, where it's, like, in a different font.
Oh, yeah.
That's because we gotta have more House of Leaves. We can't have enough of that, right? In SCP.
everybody gets one. Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one
House
reference.
of Leaves article. It's like everybody gets a L1.
Well,
You gotta have a House of Leaves thing.
Not me.
There's also the Olney Ironworks pig reference as well. We talked about Olney Ironworks.
Oh, was there?
In earlier episodes.
Yeah, we did.
Roasted pork belly braised in a blood orange sauce and garnished with pickled red onions served on crostini. Locally sourced from the stress-free demon swine that eternally torment the executives of Olney Ironworks at their corporate headquarters.
That's amazing.
Olney corporate crostini.
Oh my god, I love how Aldi just keeps showing up, but it's not like a GOI or anything.
No.
Uranium Empire is just like, let me just keep using the same. Hey, remember that time where it was the factory workers and there's pigs and there's pigs on pigs on pigs? I really like that Uranium Empire decided to throw in a really horrible person's review and just sign their own name to it. Great, cool. Closed my reservation because of an ongoing ghost problem. It's not like I booked it 3 weeks in advance or anything. Fucking SJW cucks. Too busy coddling a bunch of millennial crybabies who can't stand a little ectoplasm. Olive Garden would never do this to me.
Uranium Empire.
So just the Olive Garden reference is really good, and I really like it because it like flows into this next article. This one is like a much, even though it is really the font is really offensive, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. Anyway, so the next one we picked, which was by me, which was SCP-3464, the title of which is fucking... the title of
Half
which...
the joke.
Yeah. Olive Garden regularly communes with demonic entities to summon their satanic separtenal garlic bread.
And who's it by? Because you accidentally made that sound like you wrote this.
Oh, how did I make it sound like I wrote
Because you said
this?
this next one, which is by me, and then you never said it was by Lieutenant.
Oh, I meant to. I'm sorry. I meant to say picked by me.
Picked by me.
No, it's by Lieutenant
I love
Flops.
Flop.
This next article, which I'm stealing.
I'm just taking it. Flops, who this was one of her earlier articles, according to the author note. This was like her 5th article.
All the way back in Series 4.
And I know that Flops went back and like edited and changed it somewhat based on reviews, but I fucking love this article because it starts off just the most basic Series 1. It's anomalous garlic bread. Just keeps expanding into more garlic bread. That's it. That's the whole thing.
I love that.
And
Really
then
big garlic bread.
really big garlic bread, yeah.
It's something else going on entirely.
And then it becomes this fucking insane log, like an incident log where like there's Foundation employees and there's like some weird like thaumaturgists coming in trying to sabotage shit, and then it turns into like summoning of demons, and it just the whole thing ends up being neutralized. Yeah, it's just like there's a walking demon made out of bread in the streets, busting out of the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking great. I'm just gonna read this section because I think it's fucking hilarious. In a world where we could have our cake and eat it too, we savored every bite. Now the stakes have risen, and we eat our final meal alone. Every day we face hunger, paranoia, shortage, and the most horrifying struggle of all: sharing. With our final feast fast approaching, we look to you as the last line of defense. Take the bite or suffer the consequences.
It's
so good.
The fact that it's like a vocalization, like it talks when it becomes a giant garlic bread. It's just like...
That's so good. And then it turns out that I guess the chef who designed it used to work for, or does work for, Ambrose, and because he's becoming this world famous, I assume it's Ignis, world famous demonologist, cuisine guy, specializing in demonic cuisine, is becoming so famous that he is being like repeatedly targeted by people trying to sabotage shit, and that's what happened here. There's a line here that is just amazing. K2 summons a diebook, an incorporeal type 2 Tartarian entity. That's just in the middle of this article about garlic bread.
Yeah.
I just want to say the the comments are the most stick in the mud fucking 2018 whining I've ever seen. Like people just being like, oh, I mean, someone actually said, someone actually said, I love that this started with SCP-3464 was a quantity of garlic bread. That's awesome. But by the time I get down to K2 summons a diebook, an incorporeal type 3 Tartarian entity, you lose me. And I'm like, motherfucker, that's where I was on board. I'm hooked. Like, give me the ridiculous flops shit where like moo milk
it's
and
funny.
shit.
Like,
It's
everybody was on some shit in 2018. Man.
I just think that like some people really don't like absurdist comedy, and that is exactly my shit. It's what I want. I want
I
shit,
love that shit
to be like,
Same.
I'm sorry, did this start off about a garlic bread that just turns into more garlic bread, but somehow we ended up with demons by the end? Brilliant. A work of art.
There were
Yeah, I love
just too
that.
many over-serious scolds going around setting the tone in 2018.
I know. But yeah, I feel like this really, really does set, the flops that eventually was making Moo Milk with Lord Stonefish and other shit like that was on evidence very early on, and
Absolutely.
I love everything she does. Period.
Can't keep a good bird down.
God, what's that? Oh God, her Team Bird stuff's great. What's that one where it's like all about Michael and it's like different color coded? Have you read that one?
oh my god, yeah.
It's incredible because at first I was like, I don't even know what's going on until I got it, and then it was like, oh shit! Like it's just very, like I don't know, elevated.
Yeah, I remember that
Oh
one.
yeah, oh shit, Michael. That's my favorite article.
I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's about an individual named Michael, and every time he speaks, it's like Michael. It's just somebody's name.
Yeah, isn't like it's the instead of the SCP number, it's just like a guy's name.
No.
Or is that a different one?
That's Allison
Is that Allison
Eckhart.
Eckhart?
Yeah, that's Allison Eckhart.
That's Allison Eckhart, isn't it?
No.
Well, yes, it is.
It's-
Sorry, I'm finding it hard to find Michael.
Sorry,
Michael the
no,
Killer,
it's not the one that I'm thinking of.
But... Oh.
Okay.
I bet I could find it.
Okay. No, I
Uh,
couldn't because I don't know what either of you are talking about.
well, it's all right. Everyone go read everything that Flops has put on the site. 'cause
Everyone
it's
go
fucking
read everything.
Genius. Everything by the three of us and Lieutenant Flops.
Yeah.
Particularly
You should stop reading SCPs except for mine because mine are the best ones.
You have a whole video about it.
Yeah. No more SCPs except for me.
Hey, I just want to know
favorite video on YouTube.
why don't-
it's so funny. The editing and the comedic timing are just.
Oh, it's real good.
Good lord.
I would like to know why we don't have any more videos with you just sitting on the top of a dryer
Fucking
washing
washing
machine combo. I would like more of that, please.
Because I have to, if I'm doing ones that are like in person, I have to have a different place every time. I'm actually working on one of those, but it's been very slow going because I got a lot of things going on.
Nice. I really like that one where you had a bunch of us on, and you were nice enough to have me on as well. But where you just get steadily drunker, and it just I can hear the fucking pain as you go. I don't. Why did I pour it this big? I can't do it anymore.
No, you want to know like why I was getting drunk for that video?
Sure.
Because that video was completely finished editing.
Oh, yeah.
And it had Jackrabbit in it. And then all of the stuff came out a week before I was going to publish it, so I had to reshoot all of the whiteboard segments.
That sucks. No wonder you got drunk.
And like, I think how much like passive aggressive remarks about it in the video.
Well, fuck her.
Yeah. It turned out really funny though. So.
It sure did. Because that was a big ass mason jar full of, I don't know, what was that, like Fireball? What were you drinking?
It was like 5 shots of Fireball.
Why would you do
and
that?
I drank it in like 50 minutes because it was the only thing we had in the house.
Oh no. Oh, that's good. But that makes it funnier. So.
Yeah, it was funny. It was fucking gross. I don't know why anyone drinks Fireball. That
No,
is rank.
it's vile. Yeah, I have tried to use that line that I used in your thing about the French region of cocaine like 8,000 more times. I just keep trying to bring it up in other things because I'm just so happy.
Really good bit.
And made me laugh so hard that I'm sure had to cut out like half right because even you started laughing. Anyway, all right. So, Harry, you picked. Do you like Huey Lewis and the News? Are you about to put like
I did.
Are you gonna put like an axe in my head right now?
Oh yeah, because it's the line from American Piss Joe.
That's how you say that word. This is by Raddagher.
Obviously, it's pronounced Sideshow. I know.
Sideshow, yes, Sideshow.
American Sideshow. Yes, this is by Raddagher, and this is from the second attempt to renew Ambrose. There was this thing floating around in insert year here where there were going to be like Ambrose Con, and everybody was going to do some Ambrose stuff to reimagine Ambrose, and of course that didn't actually happen. We got like 2 articles out of it, which is I think this one and
the last one,
maybe the very next one, the last one, yeah, Ambrose Transylvania.
Oh no, we also got the last one, which was the soup one, Mama's Ambrose.
Raddagher's, which was just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That was so good, yeah.
But actually, I guess this was co-authored by Storebreath, so don't want to miss that.
Oh, did I? Okay, I was reading it off the outline. I didn't notice.
No, I just noticed that it was tagged co-authored, and I just wanted to make sure we gave credit. Keep going.
Absolutely. Gotta give credit to Stormbreath. Yeah, because I know Stormbreath was working on this with Raddagher. There was a whole server for it, and everybody was getting together in it, and it went nowhere, but we got this. So this was a bit of an idea to do what you were suggesting, to give a little bit of a background to Chaz. So it's a series of missives from Chaz Ambrose to the Ambrose family that grow increasingly
Unhinged
in an interesting way. And I think I remember being around, I think I created this one. I remember being around when he was writing this and coming up with it, and he said something to the effect of, he was basing it on the guy who founded Costco. I can't remember his fucking name.
I love that guy.
You love that guy.
I'm not
Is
familiar.
that the guy who said like something angry about the hot dog to the shareholders?
Yeah, it was something to the effect of his chief operating officer or whatever said we need to cut the price of these hot dogs because they got like the $1 hot dogs or whatever at Costco, and he said something to the effect of I'll shoot you in the face if you cut the price of our hot dogs. Make it work.
Based.
And that's basically in here, transposed into here as something Ambrose says to Marius, his operating guy. So he based it on that the idea of this completely insane chain store operator getting just mad cocaine vibes in every direction.
My brother actually works for Costco and says it's like the best like company to work for.
Wow.
Because they like put a shit ton of effort into like their workers.
That's good.
That's really interesting to hear because I find that the customers at Costco are infuriating, and I always hated going in there.
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell me. I live in Mormon country.
Oh,
it gets wild here.
Do they especially like Costco?
Yeah. What's a Mormon
Costco?
I mean,
well, the thing is,
big families.
all of them have 70 million kids.
I get it.
Sure.
I get it.
So they all come to Costco and they're buying everything in bulk. And sometimes we get the oh my god, what are they called? Is it the Mennonites?
Those are not Mormons.
Mennonites?
No, they're a different like religious group.
Yes.
But they live like farther out because some of them do like
they're basically they're like the Amish.
Yeah.
They are like the Amish.
Get a lot of those too.
Dude, what?
But
Costco with Mormons and Mennonites, that's fascinating.
I can't imagine it's any worse than the Costco around the corner that's just filled with people all the time. It's a nightmare. It's always a nightmare.
See, just imagine that, but like 2/3 of it is children.
It always is 2/3. I feel like people bring their kids to grocery shop all the time, and I don't understand why.
Well, especially Costco.
Do they have 14 of them?
Yeah, I guess that makes a difference, yeah.
Did they have those free samples at Costco in the States? I only know how it works in Canada.
Yeah.
They do now. Yeah, they brought them back.
Always a
They
fucking
didn't have them
nightmare.
for a while for COVID.
Like, I always loved that as a kid, but it makes the traffic go so incredibly slowly through the place. It makes it an absolute hell on earth.
Absolutely. The idea of going into a grocery store where there are more than one sample station makes me sick.
But you were just going to say the idea of going to a grocery store where there's more than one other person, and I was prepared to agree.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, the only problem with going late or early or whatever is that, like, sometimes not everything is put out because fucking the economy is a disaster. Capitalism, everybody!
Hooray! It's very relevant to Ambrose, actually.
I know.
This is the only tangent that's made sense.
But yeah, so he is. I like that there's the note pretty early on. I think it's in the second one because these are like monthly, kind of State of the Union
newsletters.
addresses to the employees, not to the public. And this references to some of you may be aware we reached a settlement with Wilson's Wildlife and links to the case, links to the
Oh
one
my
about
God,
the cute
yeah,
pig,
girl.
where at the end, and we covered it at Wilson's, I think.
We did.
And at the end, there's
I hate that article.
yeah, because there's this
I love it, but like,
cute, adorable pig, and at the end, it gets adopted, and that adoptation is fucking Ambrose. They put it on a spit, and they cooked it.
they barbecue roast the cute pig.
Oh, it's terrible. I really like, there's a line later on where, like, I guess someone's, like, accusing him of being, like, racist or something. I will never decide to hire someone based on their race, gender, sex, or anything else, because Ambrose has been an industry leader for a decade, and we've picked up a few things along the way. Chief among them is this: your skin color does not matter. We all taste the same inside. Terrible.
I like how they've all got food facts at the top of them. And
Yeah.
they're going off the rails by the third one, where the third one just says food fact, unicorn. Period.
Yeah, those are really good. Food fact: your skin color isn't what defines you. That's a food fact? Jesus. Food fact: in addition to the 4 mundane types of chocolate, there are 2 anomalous kinds: emerald and sapphire.
See, my favorite is the one that says, food fact, cannibalism has a long and storied history in many global cultures, and the body's just empty.
That's it. That's the whole fucking newsletter. Just, by the way, cannibalism is like a tradition. Food fact: death by forced overeating was a common punishment in the ancient David Empire. Why is ancient
Food
capitalized as opposed to the modern one?
There's a call forward to Ambrose, Transylvania as well. Human blood
That's
can be
right.
used as a substitute for eggs when cooking.
You know what I really
Yeah.
hate? I hate that that's true. It's upsetting.
That's
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Blood in general doesn't have to
You've
be good.
tried it.
Nope. God, no. Jesus.
I've always been curious about how people like prepare that, because I know that's like a cuisine in some places. Not human blood, just like, animal
Yeah,
blood.
it's especially the case where people have struggled to get enough protein in their diet. Like, that's why there's blood sausage in, like, Ireland and other places, honestly. I remember
Fun fact.
my best friend still is Vietnamese, and his mom was like teaching me all sorts of ways to cook because I didn't live anywhere nearby there. And she used to cook for me all the time. And she was telling me some of the stuff that she ate when she lived in Vietnam. And she starts explaining how they used to take the blood of the pig and like cook it down to make a jello. And I was so, I was like an inexperienced, Jewish/German kid who grew up with fairly middling taste in food. So everything she introduced me to, I thought was brilliant. So I asked in like this very excited way, I'm like, did it taste good? And she was like, no, it tasted like blood. Of course, is Jello made out of blood? No, it's not good. But on days where they couldn't get enough meat, then that's a good way to get protein. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
All right.
Jesus. Anyway,
Doesn't human blood specifically, doesn't that really mess you up though?
I'm sure it does. So you
I've
are
had human blood my whole life, and I am so fucking messed up.
if you digest human flesh, you are very susceptible to certain communicable diseases, and I forget which one.
You can get kuru from eating brains, I think it is.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
there's other
Food
stuff
fact.
too, because we shouldn't be eating stuff that has like the same immune system as us.
Yeah,
Fucking
don't eat
stupid.
people.
Don't eat fucking people. Anyway,
Is it really that hard? There are commercial
Apparently.
capitalism. There's so many other things you could be eating. Jeez.
Jeez.
Yeah, why hasn't somebody made an Ambrose article where one of the menu items is pussy? That's what I want to know.
Exactly.
Well, be the change you want to see in the world.
Oh my god, there's a fucking spider living on the back of my computer monitor.
Hello. Ambrose Berkeley.
Is that why there are webs on here that I've been seeing?
Yeah, those things go together usually.
Are you tripping?
I'm not. There's a little baby spider, and it's made a tiny little web on the back of my computer monitor.
Why are you looking at the back of you're tripping.
I moved it because I saw
the ceiling.
That's how bored Radd is with this podcast. She's like, I'm gonna look at the back of my monitor.
Can't even look at the front now. That's where the boring people are.
Anyway, he's small enough. I'm not worried about it.
No denials.
I'm not squeamish about spiders being in my room.
Yeah,
honestly.
and because they're always in the room.
I'm not at all bothered by spiders being in your room.
Anyway, all right.
Until I break in and I put them all in yours.
That would suck.
I feel like that's the second time. That's the second time in this podcast that you've threatened to break into Harry's house.
I have one joke.
That's a lie. That's a lie. All right. So let's talk about Ambrose MIC, a one-of-a-kind dining.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a story for this about why I picked this one.
Okay.
So, I read this,
Same.
thinking that I was a smart genius, and being like, oh, the bit is that it's like emulating the feeling of being in New York City. Like, all the service workers are stressed out, and there's just like a pit somewhere, and like everything is like cluttered and horrible, and like weird. In like it was like supposed to be like a weird microcosm of New York City, and then I got to the end and was like, oh, I think I was wrong. I don't actually think that's what it was about.
It isn't?
Is it?
I think so.
I mean, like, was it?
I honestly was thinking about messaging Stormbreath and asking what it's about.
I did think the same thing. So
okay,
if it's not that, then
validated.
yeah, no.
The ending made me feel like maybe it was connecting to a different thing.
Yeah, at the end it sounds like he's gonna, like the whole world is about to go terrible from the sound of the Ambrose note.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that maybe it was going to connect into like a different story, and it was just setting up a bunch of things that I didn't understand. But if it turns out that I was actually just right,
I mean, both could be true.
Oh, I think this was during the Ambrose Con thing as well, so maybe that's why. Like maybe it was gonna go somewhere, and then
see, listeners, I am smart.
You are smart. That's true.
I have a big, huge, wrinkly brain.
I remember hearing specifically from that Stop Writing SCPs video that you said that you are stupid.
I can be both. I contain multitudes.
Nice.
And multiple brains. Depends on the day. You can trade it in.
You shouldn't be eating
I've got
brains.
one in my head, and I've got one in the soles of one of my feet. You gotta guess which.
In the soles? Do you have multiple soles in one of your feet?
Do you have multiple feet?
What?
Who knows? Who's to say?
I've seen you walk on video.
Yeah, but they can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, they can do all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, have you ever seen me with my shoes off? No.
No, that's true.
I really wouldn't recommend you do that. I wouldn't
Not for free.
That was amazing. You skipped right over where I was and went right to the end. And jumped for the jugular.
Well, in the world of OnlyFans, anyone talking about feet can only possibly be discussing one thing.
I am a woman on the internet.
That's
I'm
true.
very familiar.
I'm impressed you've managed to survive so long. You've done a great job.
It's because I keep eating all of my competitors.
That's the secret.
Food fact. Eat your competitors.
Food fact. The best way to win a contest is to eat the other person.
Anyways, NYC.
Yeah, MIC. I thought this was a pretty funny article to follow up after reading Rounder's article, because sort of the end of Rounder's article, Rounder's and Stormbreath, excuse me, is about how like there's like a significant problem with like the service, and all these different issues are coming up, and and Ambrose is going to be doing surprise restaurant inspections. See you soon. And this one is the service is terrible. Like it's just the service is terrible. The food wasn't what it was ordered to be.
Tie-in.
The decor is just awful.
Oh yeah, God, I like that the decor is so just awful, and the picture used I think is just of a Ruby's.
Yeah.
I think that's just a restaurant that someone actually has.
Yep.
But I really like the part where they're ordering the food, and the author orders a nacho platter and a burger, thinking it'll be a safe choice, and they get a wine bottle filled with smoke and a plate of black Jello, described as bottle sacrifice and void gelatin, both perfectly edible and safe. When I asked if I could get what I actually ordered, I was told no.
No.
When I reminded my server that I was a food reviewer for Walden Studios. Oh, by the way, this is also another one of the Walden Studios one. They simply shrugged and said that my review of Ambrose NYC would have no relevance when the sun goes out in 5 billion years, so it was therefore of no cosmic consequence.
It's the most accurate depiction of a food service worker I've ever read.
just take a fucking leap, buddy. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, eventually. Who cares?
So good. I like that. It's just chaos and a disaster. I like how the blog is making sure to point out that the waiters were doing as best they could, because there's like a serious problem with how no one can walk in a straight line there. They have to like go down this very specific route. Although it's never really. What was the point of that? Was it that people are vanishing? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, here it is. People vanish if they don't go in the right way around the floor of the restaurant. Then they just like vanish. And even the food, which they did not order, was delicious. But ultimately, the point is like, what the fuck? Why can't we just get what we order? Or why can't we just have a normal meal?
Yeah.
Although I asked if there are any desserts available, I elected not to have any. The options I were given were vampire pumpkin pie, actual chocolate lava cake, and apple cobbler of discord. I like the idea of actual chocolate lava cake. That's just so on the nose and hilarious.
There was like a
What
little
could go wrong?
dive bar and pub in my hometown that I would always go to in high school, and they had this like terrible like Frankenstein food novelty menu thing that was like 4 things at the very bottom, and it had like chicken fried bacon and a couple of other things, but the one that my friend got once was a burger where the buns were grilled cheese sandwiches.
That sounds terrible, but also real good.
Oh, he got so sick.
I'm sure. That's a lot
like
of
the greasiness, like dive pub food.
That sounds like a shit ton of butter and a shit ton of dairy, plus just insane amount of calories and grease.
So
Jesus
much
Christ!
grease and bread, yeah.
Sometimes you can
Cut
get
that
sick
down.
just
That
from
sounds
eating.
Like a shit.
Yeah, well, it probably didn't stick around very long.
Stuck.
Let's go back to the fact that you in high school were going to pubs.
Well, I mean, it was like
that one go.
Yeah, it was like a little like diner thing that was like connected to a bar.
Oh, I see.
So like I didn't go into the bar part of it.
Criminal.
I should have sneaked in there, drank all
And
their
you were like
alcohol.
how tall? 4 feet?
No, 7. I was 7 feet tall. I've always been 7 feet tall.
Is it like a height joke, really?
She made it first. It's in one of the YouTube videos.
I'm the tallest SCP author and the most
Very
important
tall
one.
SCP author.
Yeah,
Raddagher.
that's
If you
true.
make a joke about yourself, I'll never forget it because I'll have something I can use.
But anyway, yeah.
There's another fucking spider. What the hell?
Yeah,
Did a spider have babies in my room?
Yeah, she's definitely tripping.
I'm
Yeah,
not
because
tripping. I'll take a picture with him right
because
now.
finding spiders in a living domicile is strange. The only answer that could be is hallucinogens.
I live in a Victorian house. Okay, there are untold numbers of spiders in here.
Yeah,
I live in a basement. I got lots of bugs.
I'm in a basement of a Victorian house, so yeah.
Yeah, you got it worse
Spiders.
than me.
what's a basement?
Oh yeah, you
a
live
hole.
in California.
I know that we don't have them. It sucks.
It's what you can have.
I
in a
believe in
house, but
California
because
they call it
someone
the
should have
flood
houses.
pit.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's the place that makes houses collapse because we have fucking earthquakes.
We call it the earthquake pit, yeah.
You can have them here, it's just most houses don't.
I sent you a picture of my spider.
Oh, all right, cool.
The
Share
detail.
our pets.
The
You're
detail.
so
is-
welcome.
it's just.
What the fuck, Raddagher? Such a tiny fuck. Just scared to get your phone near the spider or what?
No, it was just really, like, I was as close as I could get before it started blurring out because it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
small.
Fucking
Should find a
listeners,
movie.
I just want to explain that Raddagher just sent us a picture in which the spider, and I'm using air quotes, is smaller than my pinky nail. Like, I can't even tell that it's a spider.
If I zoom in, if I open it up,
It's a little crumb.
Yeah, it is a little spider. It's very cute.
It's very cute. What did you name it?
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
I didn't name anything. I just sort of waved it into the ether, so it's just out there somewhere now.
Oh, thaumaturgy. Very nice.
Yeah, I disappeared it.
That's like a euphemism for you killed it.
No, I didn't kill it. I don't want bad spider karma.
Very specific brand of bad karma. All right, let's move
Well,
on.
I mean, it's just from that thing where, like, if you kill a certain type of spider, the smell attracts more of them.
I don't think that's true.
I think that's ants.
It is.
Raddagher.
I think that's bees.
No, I've
I think
seen it
that's
happen.
people.
it's
Whenever I've killed a
It's
person,
definitely
more people
people.
I'd ask about it.
People will definitely
Not
show up
if
and
you-
if you kill a
Not if you eat all of them.
every part. Oh, this fucking episode's gonna make me have nightmares. All right, I can't even joke about it myself.
They're coming to get you, Grigori. All the spiders.
No, I don't have a problem with
It's the
spiders.
cannibalism.
Yeah.
They're gonna. All the spiders are gonna force feed you other people.
Oh no. Why would they do
Grigori gets
that?
Eaten by spiders and Raddagher breaks into my house. It's been a
Because they
Been a hell of
eat
an
fucking
episode.
shit, obviously.
I didn't have the bad karma. You had the bad spider karma because you disappeared them. Like you're a dictator. You're a Chilean dictator.
I was gonna say that I think they're spiders.
I'm the Pinochet of baby spiders.
You know what? Maybe we shouldn't joke about being.
Don't cut it. You're not
Oh no. All right.
Sorry, I just read a
So
horrible book about U.S. anti-communist action, and it was terrifying, and I'm coping with
yeah.
humor.
oh yeah, that's the only way to cope.
Yep.
Except for like unbridled rage, of course. Anyway, so let's move on. We're almost done with this list. Ambrose, Transylvania, that's right? Yeah. This is my favorite of
No,
this
read the
list.
whole
The
title.
best one.
Yeah, it's my favorite of almost any article, period. I don't know. I love this so much. Ambrose, Transylvania, for all the damn vampires. Which is a reference to Lost Boys. So this is a hotel and a restaurant opened by Ambrose for vampires. But the funny thing is there's a hotel and restaurant upstairs for people. Because this is the way that you get vampires in. You create a what is it they said? Oh, upstairs section of the hotel has been specifically redecorated and refurbished to provide an excellent hunt. There are numerous false ends, hiding places that give themselves away, and secret passageways. And then they let them feed on the people as long as they don't kill them, and then they just apply amnestics to the guests, which is pretty good.
So good.
It's really good. But so this is like a home away from home, or like a what do you call it? Like why can't I think of the word? Like a resort for vampires. And because obviously most hotel rooms that are like nice resorts, they look out on a view. This one has a view out onto like a cave because they can't have any sunlight. And then
It's awesome.
I like the part where there's a whole paragraph explaining about how if you get vampires together, they're gonna get upset at each other because of
They don't like each other.
they're very territorial, and there's old history and bad blood, haha. And so to avoid them from feuding, the ground is ritually desecrated. I was about to say desegregated. Desecrated.
Ritually desegregated.
That's right. Desecrated to a few dark blood gods. Notably, these gods do not find our presence to be intolerable. In fact, it is the opposite. Harming one of our kind is the great sin. Violate it, and they shall smite thee down, revoking whatever sanguine bonds animate you. It's just so over the top.
I
I
like
shall revoke your sanguine bonds.
Yes.
much to the I'm sure horror of my 13-year-old not like other girls self. I love vampires. Vampires are the shit, but only when they're cool like this.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I even
Don't
like
give
the
me
cheesy
Edward
ones.
Cullen, give me fucking
Oh, yeah.
Dracula.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I even love I don't like what is that? Twilight. I don't like those, but
I like the movies. The movies are good. The books are bad.
They're okay. I think they're pretty bad. But whatever. They were fun. You know, like I'm with you. Like I never dressed.
I'm gonna start my Twilight movies rant because
you should.
I have so many opinions about them.
This is great. Let's go.
This is the right time for it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, they fuck. Those movies rule, and you're wrong.
Those movies do not rule, but
Well,
I love.
A couple of them.
Yes.
Are great. The first one is phenomenal.
I'll agree. So during pandemic, I had never seen any of them, so I was curious, and they were all on one of the fucking services. And I said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna sit here like all day." I was unemployed through a lot of the worst of the pandemic, and I just watched all of them in like a 24-hour period. It was
I read the first book.
They're so entertaining.
I read the first book because my mom gave it to me. She'd read it and she left it in my bag when I went off to do my master's. And I had a girl visit me and she basically dumped me on the visit. And I was really depressed and I was lying in bed. I'm supposed to be working on my master's. And instead, I just read all of Twilight in one day.
I think you have the best Twilight story then.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like it's a terribly written book. And it goes down like popcorn. Like you don't even notice that it's already done, and also it doesn't give you anything. But you get through it so quickly.
I just hate any of the famous, like really really popular books that just reinforce horrible fucking perspectives socially.
It's awful.
But
on the topic of vampires specifically,
she is. But that's not my problem with her. I don't hate anybody for the religion. I dislike how shitty it reinforces like sexual dynamics between men and women. It's horrible.
It's so interesting though. It's so interesting to see like little glimpses into the perspective and like how like men are these like horrible monsters that can't control themselves.
Right.
But also isn't that kind of hot though? Like it's just it's wild.
It's so funny because I actually really like those two actors a lot. Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart. Yeah, I think they're both wonderful actors, and it's so funny.
So done the moment they show up on the camera, and they never stop being done.
Yeah, they're just. It's so funny how little they're like how little those movies, even though they probably made them a fortune and like probably jump started their careers, both of them. Definitely. You know, and it's just has no like you have no idea that actually both of these actors are like their range is incredible.
Yeah,
and it's just the most fucking deadpan, frowny face. Like he looks like he's taking. He looks like he's taking a shit in every single goddamn moment of frame that he's in.
The thing is though, like I've seen like. I've watched like the director's commentaries of these movies, right?
Oh my god!
Like it is, like the first one especially. I think they kind of calmed down in like the later ones because they had to stop being so weird about it. But I think the first one is so perfectly tailored to the actual tone of the books in that it's fucking weird and no one acts like a real person.
Yeah,
and I think it's perfect. I think all the time about the scene where she walks into the classroom and the fan blows behind her and he looks like he's gonna throw up is like the funniest thing I've ever seen.
That is very funny.
It is.
Like I think that they're both giving perfect reads for those characters because there's nothing to either of those characters.
Yeah. I think it's really funny that Michael Sheen was in that movie and the Underworld movies.
Oh, the Underworld movies.
Oh my God,
the same girl made me see those movies. Oh my god, that's so weird.
Well, isn't that weird though?
No, the fact that she was into Underworld, but my mom gave me Twilight. It was the girl who like.
Oh right, she was just connected. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say that she dumped you because you had that book in your bag, and I was
That's
like,
what
No,
I thought it
she
was
loves those
was.
movies.
and
She
I
really
was
watched
gonna
the
be
second one.
so horrified. I was like, that sucks. Like, what a terrible, dumbass thing to get dumped over.
No, that chick made me watch Twilight.
Third one is boring as shit. The fourth
one
one
is the
has
third one?
some of. Oh, I don't even remember. Like nothing happens in it.
Just remember that
It's like the one.
Is that the
The
one where
one
they're
where he,
on
like-
they're on their honeymoon?
Is it the
No, that's
Vatican
the
one? The
fourth one.
Vatican one was the one I saw with her, and it was
I
terrible.
think it's the Vatican one.
Okay.
But the
But the whole
fourth
thing
one
is like he's
is
gonna
the,
get killed. Boo.
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
This is
The fourth
sad.
one is the one where they go on their honeymoon and then she gets pregnant with the monster baby, and what ensues
ridiculous
is like
monster
the
baby.
best like fucking YA horror I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's
Like,
good. It's good. It's definitely how I
it's
feel
great.
about children in general. So yeah, I'm on board.
Right?
The shot when she's like drinking like the blood out of the styrofoam cup and her face is all gaunt, like it's so intense.
Yeah, she makes a very hot vampire also, like way better than
Well, she
fucking
would.
he would. Yeah, she's got the whole vibe for it. I was like pretty like checked out for most of those movies, and then all of a sudden is it the fifth one where they have like the big throwdown with like it's like Avengers level
That was-
action? Yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome.
The second half of the movie is just one big ass fight that somehow didn't happen because it's in someone's head. But whatever. Fuck. You know what? Now I just remember that's all a dream and I hate them. But whatever. But that, I was just like, wow, this movie just all of a sudden became like the most intense action movie, and I did not have that on my bingo card.
Yeah. I love those movies.
Yeah, they're terrible, but they were pretty entertaining.
We're very sorry, Stormbreath.
They're terrible, but they work.
Yeah. Well, it's Stormbreath's fault for writing about vampires.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point that I was going to get at is that even though I love the Twilight movies, the vampire lore in the Twilight movies is boring as shit.
Yeah.
Like, your vampire can't be just like a guy. That's dumb. I love these Dracula motherfuckers in this article.
Absolutely.
That's how
Yeah,
it should be.
my favorite
Like,
vampires
Raddagher.
are the ones that are like way closer to like the original folklore. Like I also really love vampire stuff. And vampires were like horrifying. Like
Yeah,
it
they
was
gotta be like fucked up monsters that eat people.
yeah, like don't make them all like sexy and shit like that. Like it's fine.
Dracula in Dracula, I think.
Yeah.
Let them
Dracula
be
itself is
sexy
Dra- right.
because they're monsters that eat people.
Right, Dracula in Dracula is monstrous. The movie version of Dracula, that's not how he is in the book at all.
He's disgusting.
Are you
I can't
guys
stand to
you
be
guys
near him.
subscribe to Dracula Daily?
I don't
I
because
was last year and I got certain ways in and then just brain got in the way. I have read the whole book before, but Dracula Daily is really cool.
I
It's
just
fun. So listeners,
it's a
if you
very
don't know,
fun idea, yeah.
Yeah, explain.
It's just like it's just like an email list where they send you, because the story is told in like journal format.
Epistolary.
And
yeah.
so they send you an email with like whatever chapter takes place on whatever day of the year it is.
Yeah.
So you just get to read Dracula like in your email.
Yeah, because
Dracula as it
the
happens.
arc of Dracula takes place over like a long period of time. They travel to and from Central Europe back to England back in the 1800s, so it takes a bit of time.
I really love that book. It's a really good book.
Oh, it's a
Yeah, that's
great
really
book. It's a great
It's
book.
so well written, especially like for people who want to do SCP kind of stuff. It's
Oh yeah.
written that way, and it's really old for being written that way. It's all a
Yeah.
novel made up of different pieces of stuff stuck together. Like
It's
Grigori
really
said,
clever.
Epistolary.
Yeah,
format.
it's really clever. One of my favorite things with the spiritual successor book, which is called The Historian, which is also told entirely in the letters and diaries of people that are researching the real Dracula, but then it turns out actually the real Dracula maybe is also the vampire Dracula, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Because I am not really obsessed with the Dracula the vampire. I am obsessed with Vlad Tepes. Like I have read so much about that crazy motherfucker. And I just love it when it's just like, yeah, but also he was also a vampire. It's like that isn't even the top 10 reasons why that guy sucked.
You've also read The Secret History of Twin Peaks, right?
No, I still haven't. I have
it's
to.
so good.
I know.
It's all epistolary as well. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
It's so
right,
well
yeah.
written.
Okay, all right. Back to Stormbreath's article. That's terrible. I'm
Yeah.
very sorry, Stormbreath.
See,
The funny thing is, like, this is one of our favorite articles from this section.
I know.
Yeah, compliments to Stormbreath because, just inspiring all of this conversation about cool vampire shit, because it's about cool
Like
vampire
Twilight.
shit.
But it is really a really, really, really great article. It's not just like because it has fun, it has this really interesting arc where we get to see the vampire who is the author get taken around the resort and explained all the things. Like in the they explain how vampires can't eat normal food, but Chaz Ambrose has figured out that if they just include a lot of blood, then they can. So they make brioche with blood instead of eggs and blood sausage. But then they also have like different selections of blood on the list, like the tuatha de danann, like the seed. I forget how to say that word. She. That's right. Thank you.
She. Yeah.
Which is from High Brazil, it's not surprising this is a Stormbreath article.
Yep.
And then the human guests above as well. But the funniest part, not the funniest part, but the fact that it ends with an interview with Chad Ambrose, Chaz Ambrose.
Chad.
He's such a Chad. And then there's some really good twists in it. Honestly,
This is a really good twist.
this is. I mean, I know it wasn't the first one, but this is my absolute favorite Walden Studios one.
I think this is my favorite like characterization of
Yeah,
Ambrose
yeah.
of like all
Oh,
of
yeah.
them.
Absolutely.
Because I think that's the one as funny as Rounder and Stormbreath's the Huey Lewis one.
Yeah.
It's so funny and it's so great. But I feel like it pulls back the curtain a little bit too much for me personally, because I really like when Chaz Ambrose is just like this sort of mythical figure. There's a lot of like mystery surrounding him and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this does such a good job of rolling out just enough from somebody else's point of view, like on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the ending, can I spoil it? I know we were talking about spoilers. Can I just say
Yeah.
it?
No.
I feel like this is
Yeah.
one of the ones that it doesn't
The
rely
journey is the point in this one. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it kind of leads you to believe that maybe Ambrose is also a vampire, and then at the end you find out that he's not. He's just a guy who was like drinking a person's blood and just drinking a lot of blood for the whole night, and he was just doing that because maybe like he's something else or maybe not. And like I think
Maybe
that's
he's a fucking weirdo.
I think like all he needs to be is like the food guy, and there need to be no other answers.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it's food related, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Totally.
Yeah, it's really excellent. Yeah, so yet again we are just crooning about how awesome Stormbreath is. I don't even know if Stormbreath listens.
Fantastic work.
I feel like for all the
Actually,
you do or don't.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Oh, sweet. Well, we like your articles. Anyway,
Always
We
do.
do very much.
but one last one before we get to
And
some
we like
emails.
you.
We do also like you. You seem
Love
pretty.
kisses, mwah, mwah, mwah.
I don't want to do that, but yeah.
Wow. I don't think I could do that.
Baby talk is.
Coward.
The baby talk is
Oh, I thought
a
it was more
line too far. Can't do it.
I thought it
You
was
just
more
gotta,
like
you just gotta blow a kiss. You just gotta blow one
Valley
kiss.
Girl. That's what I heard.
That wasn't Valley Girl, was it?
I can do a plethora of different voices. Would you like to request one?
Yeah, I would like Dracula.
No. Something else.
Just insult a whole bunch of people.
Can you do Grigori's voice?
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's me, Grigori.
What? Why do I sound like I'm from Brooklyn in that?
Hey guys, it's me, Grigori.
What the fuck? I don't sound like that.
Hey, it's me, Grigori.
I've never been so insulted, but also feel like it is accurate as when Lieutenant Flops in one of the Discords said that she could tell my voice from Harry's because I'm the one that sounds like, what if Valley Girl was not specifically applied to women and there was a male equivalent to that? And I am so horrified, but also sure, I guess.
Hey there, SCP fans.
I just like doing bad impressions of people.
This is so much funnier than doing good impressions. Anytime I see a comedian who the whole deal is their good impressions, I'm just like, I don't give a shit, man.
I just keep annoying all my roommates because I keep talking like Microsoft Sam, and they all hate it.
Who the fuck is Microsoft Sam?
Oh fuck! Of course, it's the text to
Do you
speech
guys
thing.
want
Microsoft.
to read an SCP article?
Oh wow, you're really good.
That's
at that.
actually really good.
Thank you.
What does that say?
I love to be a computer.
All right. This was such a good choice. Thank you for coming on. All right. SCP-5348 by... Oh, no. I don't know how to say this.
Good old oh no. Lunarism?
Lunarism? Is that how you say it?
I get through all the letters in the right order.
All right, Lunarism. I'm sorry if that was wrong. Anyway.
Also known as Raddagher.
Wait, and this one's title is Mama Ambrose's Creamy Mushroom Bisque. And this is just a, creamy mushroom bisque. There's nothing really that strange about it. And then we start getting a series of emails or letters, I guess, from a rated Ambrose Restaurants location. I like the idea that he's keeping his personal letters in one of the restaurants.
In just one of them, yeah.
He's just like, this is how much I care about you, Matthew. Which these are all letters from his brother, Matthew, who's explaining about how their mom is dying and Chaz should come and see her. And then ultimately does not. And Chaz ultimately says she would have wanted it this way, which is, what? But then you get a recipe for this soup that is named after her, and you kind of figure out why it's so impressive. And this is a short enough article that I feel like, and it's underrated as hell. I think we should not spoil this one.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. I feel like Illuminarism's articles are pretty underrated. Hasn't written a shit ton of articles, but every time I've read one by them,
You're writing people's articles.
What?
I got accused of accidentally writing somebody's articles. Now you just wrote that.
I immediately changed it. I corrected it. You're breaking the
Doesn't
flow.
matter.
This is the greatest.
I wrote all of these.
The greatest crime in podcasting is breaking the flow. Terrible.
It's what makes us special. It's our shtick. Because we have no flow and I have no chill.
and also, yeah, Radd wrote all of these. So
Yeah, I wrote the whole wiki except for the bad ones.
no, you also wrote the bad ones, and thanks a lot for those.
No.
Sorry.
I did it.
Sorry, you did it.
No.
All right.
This one's very my speed. I really like.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
really like ones that are short, and I really like ones that have some emotional heart to them. So, I really did enjoy this one very much.
I like the ones that have emotional heart that don't feel like they are cheating.
Yeah.
There are quite a few articles that are sappy and touching in a way that feels unearned. And it's a weird thing that I haven't seen in a lot of other spaces for creative writing.
Drop the numbers. Which ones?
No, that's not happening. But and definitely by this. No, I'm just kidding. But this one feels very earned. It feels like this comes from a space of whatever was trying to be communicated. This comes from a place of somebody who has understood loss or understood someone being away from them or whatever. And
is this loss?
It comes through. What?
Nothing.
You referencing the horrible meme Lost? Is that what's happening? Because of the
I'm sure
word
if we
Lost?
moved the text around, we could build it.
Did you see that? Did
Make
you
that real
did
reality.
you see that tweet not long after the discussion of turning it into X or whatever, where somebody was like, "Oh, now I get it," and they just turned it into Lost, which was really funny. Just fuck you,
Would have
Musk.
been a better logo.
Yeah, anything would be better. If it was a V, it'd be even better. Anyway,
A little bit of foreshadowing.
so let's read some emails. Did you guys get that updated list of emails I sent?
Yes.
Probably.
Good. Okay. Why don't you read this first one from Fern?
Okay. Chazbros Restaurants. In my opinion, it's a very underrated GOI with a lot of fun potential, and having Raddagher be the guest to talk about it is perfect. They know this because I am so good at eating food.
It's because
That's
you
not what the
are
email
one of the
says.
most underrated authors we have.
How can that be? You've written all of the wiki.
I
Still
get all the downvotes too. And going on. My question for this episode is this. Will you ever do a second episode on fifthism? No, but they might do a fifth one.
Nice. Very nice.
On episode
Very nice.
55, maybe? Question mark? Another question mark?
Right now, the episode for fifthism, I think, is the 4th episode, so...
I think that's fun.
Why?
Well,
I think I'd listen to that one.
Well, it was... Oh, just that
Thank you.
one? Just that one? Thanks. It was the 5th episode, but we had to go and take one of the episodes away because of a certain piece of shit. So now it's... No, it's the 5th one again. Sorry. Forgot it.
We both had to delete stuff from our media.
Yeah. Yeah, I fixed it. That's right. I rearranged things. So, like, if you go back and listen to episode 4, it'll be referencing that it's episode 5, which is pretty funny.
God, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna make another episode 1.
Why not? Episode 3 is
actually been
the
working
third
on
moon.
that,
Have you?
It's a secret. Oh yeah, it's a secret to you as well. Maybe I'll have it done by your birthday.
It's just Harry reading like numbers, like the numbers radio station.
I would 100% put that on the feed just to see what people did. Just like, this is really fucked up. I don't know what you're talking about.
You gotta do it on October 1st so that they think that you're doing some kind of ARG.
God, I'm so lazy. I would never be able to do an ARG.
Just do the first episode.
That's true, right?
Just
Good point.
Let's hint that you're doing it and then never follow up.
Well, that's like a lot of ARGs.
You got it.
Anyway, all right. So Harry, if you want to read this one from Flying Rider.
Flying Rider. I love y'all's podcast.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I can't wait to learn. Yeah, our all's podcast, and I can't wait to learn more about the founder of Ambrosia Chaz Ambrosia.
Too bad we
Okay.
didn't tell you a single goddamn thing.
Also, what anomalous food would you want to be real?
None of them. The cake.
I like
The cake.
regular food.
I really like the human blood.
Okay.
I think that should be real.
That's not anomalous. I'm not sure.
No, it is.
Fuck you, yes it is.
Okay, Hannibal
Human
Lecter.
blood
It's
isn't
made up. It's pretend. There's no such thing as blood.
I can't get those Doritos Dynamita, like they're kind of like Takis, but they're made by Doritos. I can't get those in the stores anymore, so I feel like they're not real. So I would like those to be real again.
Oh, that's like my favorite candy was Good and Fruities. The Good and Plenty brand jelly beans, and they went.
Oh, yeah.
They stopped making them, and I was very sad.
Well, that's anomalous, so you should want those to be real. It's
Yeah,
anomalous
I
that good
changed my
food
mind.
stops
I don't want-
existing.
I don't want blood to be real. I want Good and Fruities to be real instead.
You heard it first here,
No,
folks.
like-
Blood is not real. Yeah, I really like those Kettle brand chips that taste like Korean barbecue, and they don't seem to have those anymore, and I really liked them.
Oh yeah.
They were real good. Anyway, I
Nothing
saw.
like not answering the question because we like have a better question we like to
Yeah,
answer.
I
instead.
don't. What anomalous food? I don't know. One of the ones we talked about earlier, I guess. Anyway,
Thank you for asking this question.
all right, I'm gonna read
Being
this.
so contemptuous of our listeners.
It's funny. They know what they did.
They
All right.
set themselves up for
So this one is from Crowcat. So hello, Crowcat here. I like Ambrose Restaurants. That's the end of their email. No, I'm just kidding.
good email.
But I've noticed people don't talk about them very often, especially compared to a lot of other GOIs. I wonder if most folks just aren't drawn to the restaurant chain serving anomalous food as a concept, which makes me think about what aspects as an SCP concept have that causes it to resonate or attract people. What are some of the things that attract you personally as readers to certain concepts? That's wide, whether it's GOI, canon, or character on the wiki.
I like it when they're good.
I really like absurdist comedy. If you're gonna try and do something funny and it's absurd and you're leaning into it, I like it. Very much so.
It really depends.
Yeah, well,
for
that's true.
me, I'm like, yeah.
Good answer.
I have a hard time pinning down what I like in fiction. Because it just, I mean, it really kind of is just like, I don't know, is it good?
Sure. I mean, I've got a wide range in taste in fiction, and the only thing that's in common with a lot of the different things that I like is
I
that
think they're good.
usually there's some character-driven stuff. Like, if everyone feels like it's a two-dimensional character, sometimes you can get away with that. Like some of the old pulpier stuff. Like, I've been reading a lot of Michael Moorcock lately, and a lot of his stuff reads like it was written for, like, the 1930s pulp magazines. And it's fun because the ideas are crazy, but I don't know how much weight I care about these characters because they're not characters, and that makes all the difference. So
yeah, I feel like character-driven stuff.
For sure.
I know I'm predictable because that's all I write, but like,
same.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
All
to me,
three
too.
of us.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, that's
tend
not
to be
true.
So hard with people and their like dialogue on the wiki because that's like the only thing I know how to write well.
Right. I'm big
So
on the dialogue too.
my bar is very high for that.
Yeah, that's fair. I realize I don't just write character-driven stuff because Victim is not character-driven at all. It's all fucking insane, people.
No.
But
So good though.
thank you. The thing that I really like reading about, and it doesn't get done as often anymore, is the stuff that I feel like attracted me to the wiki in the first place, which is kind of like eldritch horror, and that's why I really liked the fifithism and also the Church and the Second High Taught stuff, but sarcasm and stuff like that. And it feels like sometimes when people do it now, it's trying a little too hard to evoke those things. But occasionally, somebody like Asabi will do something like the M is for moon or a place to drown in, and it's everything I want. It's upsetting, and it's God, Asabi's so fucking good.
Spin crawl.
Yeah, like Asabi has this way of making people talk about otherworldly things in this like religious awe, but that also reverence. But that also makes you kind of disturbed. And it's like, how did you do that again? Bravo. Bravo.
Have you seen the short film Portrait of God?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Perfect.
So fucking good.
Yeah, it's really good. That is absolutely my jam when we're not talking about comedy.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants
Love
to
that
read?
shit.
Yeah, me too. Who wants to read Montague's email?
I'll do it.
Great.
Ambrose Restaurants is one of those GOIs that makes the world of SCP feel all the more real to me. Even in a setting as out there as this, people still need to eat, after all. Considering your assorted experiences with creating off-site SCP content, producing podcasts, making YouTube videos, writing for video games, etc., do you have any advice for SCP writers interested in branching out into other mediums? My advice is do that.
Yeah. I mean, all the stuff that I've done is mostly stuff that I've done, so just go out and do it. Create the thing. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any advice for how you get hired by somebody else to do it. But I know.
Other people either.
If you have an idea, learn how to do it. Go to talk to people that know how to do some of the technical details that might hold you back, or just watch a bunch of tutorials like I did. It used to seem very intimidating to run a podcast, and really it's just something we do on an afternoon now.
Making audio dramas is not actually that hard.
I'm sure it's not. I mean, the only thing I imagine it can be kind of difficult is balancing, like, do I have all the little pieces to fit them together? But I'm sure it isn't nearly as bad as it seems from the outside. Most of the time it isn't.
I'm sure you don't do nearly as much work as you claim you do.
No, I'm sure you do lots of work, but
I lie. I don't do shit. It's all AI.
Oh God!
It's been run by ChatGPT.
Canceled. Raddagher is canceled.
Yeah.
It's been AI since 2019.
Wow. You must have had access to the good stuff.
Really ahead of the curve, yeah.
Do as much stuff as possible with as many different people as possible for as long as possible until people notice what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, you want to hear a piece of like real advice that I've heard in my artist career is that like the most valuable connections that you're ever going to have are not people that are like higher up than you, like more successful than you. They're people that are at your same level because they're the people that are going to get jobs and then going to hire you.
Exactly.
Right.
So nurture those relationships because they're actually the most important ones.
Yeah, your community connections make a huge difference. Whether that's other authors, whether that's artists. Make friends with artists, guys. Do it a lot. It makes a difference. 6,500 would
Pretty easy
be...
to do.
Oh, yeah.
6,500 would be fucking dumb without all the art that we asked and got for her. And in general, you know, getting advice on stuff is great. I mean, like Victim is SCP stuff on the wiki, but you know, so much of it was talking to people that knew more than I did about, you know, graphic design and, you know, photoshopping and doing all sorts, because none of that shit would work without weird images. And, you know, the same is true for like the podcasting. If you see something that you have an idea that you would like to see in reality and no one's doing it, guess what? You could be the one to do that. You know? And it's not going to happen overnight. Like our first few episodes were like, you know, 20 to 50 listeners. And it's still not in the thousands yet, but it's growing, and it takes, all you have to do is consistently keep going and get the word out as best you can. If it's not a podcast that you're doing, which, you know, fair enough. You know, the point is not, I think, very seriously, I talk to people about this a lot, about writing. You can't wait for you to be in the quote-unquote right headspace to write.
You'll never get there.
It doesn't exist. If you want to be a writer who gets out there and actually does stuff, barring things like disabilities or other things that are external you can't control, but if it's just about your motivations, you will never get there. You have to sit yourself down the computer and do it. Because it's a muscle. And if you don't stretch and work on that muscle, then it's just like running around the block or running 6 miles. You know, if you run around the block and you've not run at all, you're going to get winded. If you run all the time and you start pushing yourself farther and farther and challenging yourself with different environments, the same thing is true of writing. If you're trying to get out of your comfort space, if you're only writing the same thing, try something new. You know, you have to just keep pushing at it. And I don't ever wait until I'm just inspired. Sometimes you're lucky enough that something will just, you know, pop into your head and you have to write it down right now. But a lot of times that happens when you're like at work or in the shower or, you know, grocery shopping. So you just have to learn how to like plant those seeds and then come back and then sit in front of the computer and make yourself do it.
You also kind of always feel like a bad writer.
Yep.
Like you will never feel like a good writer. Even if you are a good writer, you'll always still feel like you're kind of shit.
100%.
Absolutely.
And you know, unless you're an asshole, you're always going to wonder, you know, why isn't my stuff more popular? Or you're going to feel like an imposter or whatever. Only the people that are douchebags genuinely think they deserve lots and lots of attention all the time.
It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less like skill you have, the more skill you perceive yourself to have.
Exactly.
Right. So all you people who feel like you shouldn't, and all you people who don't,
you should.
Oops.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I think it's also a good idea to consume more and pay attention when you're consuming it. If you are interested in making a podcast, listen to other people's podcasts. Take notes. You know, things you like, things you didn't like. You know, both
the co-host seems to interrupt him a lot. I don't think I'll get one of those.
Yeah.
But like one-person podcast.
Yeah, that's no good. Yeah, that's why Harry is definitely around. But then also, you know, when it comes to like writing,
that's why I'm around. Oh, okay.
Well, also because you
you
show up.
I do show up. It's one of the few things I've done consistently. I think I missed one appointment once.
Did you?
I slept through one that I was supposed to before. I remember that.
Oh, but then we just recorded it later.
Yes. No, we didn't just not.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I think with writing especially, because that's the thing I know the best, when you're sitting there, you know, read more. Read more with a critical eye, and not just in your way you want to leave your mark by leaving a shitty comment on somebody's thing. I mean, in that when you're consuming something, pay attention to the things that you like, and then, you know, try to emulate without just ripping somebody off. But none of us are totally original, so. Except for Raddagher, because she wrote everything.
You gotta think of it,
Raddagher's
because I wrote everything. You gotta think about ingesting like art and media and people. You gotta think of it like putting gas in the tank, like creatively.
Right.
Like you can't just be constantly churning stuff out. Like that's how you get writer's block, is if you're not like
Right.
taking enough stuff in to get inspired.
Yeah, it's also how you get people start thinking that you're just churning stuff out and it's not worth looking at.
Yeah, read
What's
more
the,
stuff. Read different types of stuff.
The Garth Marenghi's Dark Place quote, where he's like, "I'm the only author I know who's written more books than I've read."
God damn it, that show's
So fucking
amazing.
good.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, consume, man. Like everybody needs to,
Consume, man. There
yeah,
you go.
there you go. There you go.
Finally.
The thesis of this episode.
Fucking good. Get out there and read some books. Don't just read SCP. If you're interested in writing better SCP, read a fucking book. Because just reading, I'm just saying, reading the same
Read
format
the book.
things.
Read House of Leaves. It's
Not
required.
not that one. That one's barely a narrative. But I mean, seriously, like start like trying. Yeah, it's a great book, but it's not a narrative. It's an experiment. But whatever. The point is that like you need to like push yourselves out of the comfort zone, and the best way to like become a better writer is to read more and keep writing, obviously. But
Yeah.
Anyway.
I've been reading the Expanse series.
Oh my god, you have it. I'm reading them at the same time. I love those.
Like everyone's reading those right now. A friend of
I
mine like
told
bought the
somebody
whole
to read
series,
them.
and we've all just been like passing it around the friend group.
They're so good. Which one are you on?
Just the second one.
That's what I'm on right now.
So they're so like, see, that's why my bar for the combat is so high right now, because I've been reading those, and the fight sequences are so good.
Oh, they're brilliant. You've seen the show? You've seen the show?
No, I've heard it wasn't great.
No, the
Oh,
show's
you
terrific.
It is the best sci-fi fucking action. It is such a well-done show.
It's so smart.
Perfectly adapted. They did such a good
Oh,
job.
is it?
It's so watch it, Raddagher. I want to talk to you about it. It's so good.
Maybe I will have to then. Yeah.
It's a very
They
good
do
show.
such a good job. And the acting is great. The writing is great. The effects are amazing. They catch the action like so well. It's some of
Nice.
the best action. The space fights and stuff with the
And
TDC cannons.
they
and all
kn-
that. Oh, it's so good.
And they don't do the sound in space thing that I hate so much in science fiction.
Yeah, no, they've got that. They might do it in the occasional like artistic scene of like, oh, here's a ship going by, but yeah,
Right.
There's no sound in space.
Right.
All that.
Like at the worst, they do it
Nice.
very muted, but they try to get the point across that like it's like no, this is
Right.
like the fucking vacuum. It's terrifying.
Yeah,
And
they
the
have to,
the
like,
show
put their helmets together.
the show has this real like respect for the fact that they're in space. Like it feels like space is a character in the show, as opposed to like Star Trek. Not bashing Star Trek, but
Right.
Star Trek feels like this is the
Yeah.
magic ship that no one ever gets blasted into space. This is no, people are gonna get fucking
It's gonna
voided.
kill you.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Good shit.
No,
Good shit.
like if you're enjoying the books, fucking watch the show. Maybe even
Yeah,
like
such a good series.
do them at the same time because the adaptation, I've very rarely seen an adaptation that has so much respect for the thing it's adapting. It doesn't even cut stuff out at the beginning. It just adds more scenes that make logical sense to glue some stuff together for the show. It's so well done. Really,
Nice.
definitely recommend. Great stuff.
I have to do
See how
that.
excited suddenly I am?
Yeah.
I'm really glad you're reading those. They're such good books.
Yeah,
so
they're
well
fucking
written.
great.
The character writing is great, and the sci-fi is great, and it's just
It's so crunchy.
it is. It's
I
all
love
that
that. I love
detail.
crunchy sci-fi.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
don't know
Harry.
what we're talking about.
We were talking about emails. We still have 2 more to read.
Oh.
Yeah, what the hell, Croquet?
Shit.
Sobek.
So, wait. Sobek. Interesting. Sobek is here on this.
Even the
Hello.
Egyptian gods listen to this podcast.
That's amazing, eh? Hello, Grigori, Harry, and Radd. Big fan of all of your stuff. Well, I mean, it's all about
Prove it. There better be 84 upvotes. No, I'm just kidding.
Where's my 160 something? Have listened to many SimCreate episodes multiple times, and FUA is currently keeping me sane at work. I imagine that is Find Us Alive.
Sure is. That's the acronym.
Booah.
That's the first letter of each of the 3 words, yes.
That's how that works, yeah. Ambrose is a goy that
Goy!
I think he is. Ambrose is a GOI that
It's
I have a bit
Egyptian,
of a-
so.
That's
clearly.
why I said
Yeah.
goy, was just so you would chime in. Ambrose is a GOI that I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with. I like thinking about food culture and wrote a few university essays on food as an art form.
Oh God,
So
do you
I
take
really like-
Sobek? Do you take pictures of your food? Do you do
Oh
that?
God, Instagram. So I really like the Ambrose articles that take food as a concept and explore it in interesting ways. Standouts for me are articles like Ambrose Vienna, that takes itself really seriously and is a super interesting read, or Ambrose Wanderer's Library by Stygian Blue and Din Bedor over on the other side of the Wiki. Ah yes. Shout out to Stig and Din. Some of their respective Wanderer's Library work is so good and underrated. So underrated it makes me mad. We should do a Wanderer's Library episode.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
It's-
you
except
should.
for you can't just do like one episode about the entirety of Wanderers.
Yeah,
Library.
no,
That's
I know.
what's held me back from it.
We'll find a way to approach it.
Anyway,
Yeah. And Router will want to talk about that, obviously. I do think that the menu of funny things format can be a bit hit or miss, especially when it's been done really well a few times already. Not that you can't give it a go, but it's something that can potentially fall flat if you don't give a fresh spin on it. I just hope more people do Ambrose stuff outside of the current GOI format, I guess. Thanks for the episode. You're welcome for the episode.
yeah, I having read these, I feel like I understand why the GOI constantly runs up against people's like limited motivation to keep going with it. It's just, it seems to be like there's only so much stuff you could do. Like, you've got to come up with the gimmick first of what the restaurant's theme is, especially with the Walden stuff. And then you've got to write a compelling food blog about that, which that isn't actually that easy. And, you know, and before that it was the menus. And I feel like because they all kind of, I don't want to say they all feel the same, but like reading a lot of them in one sitting, it's like, okay, you know, I can see why there's only so much gas in the tank for these.
Mm-hmm.
And they're great. I mean, obviously I liked all the ones we read for today, but yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, not everything is going to be is going to prompt everybody to do something. So
Yeah, I feel like it needs more. I think that the GOI needs more to go on, not just a new restaurant with a gimmick. You know, I think they, not to necessarily be deep lore about their version of Dr. Wondertainment or whatever. Just, you know, I feel like there should just be more. Maybe like a, you know, like a tale series dealing with people that work at an Ambrose restaurant or something. Something, you know, character driven. Anyway, we do actually have one last very late email from Real Sir.
Oh, real sir. Real sir.
That's right. Ambrose Restaurants seems like such a natural leap for something like SCP. One could argue that almost any food seems weird or unnatural once you think about it enough. So why not lean in? Does food seem weird when you think about it?
I don't want to start thinking about it. I do not want to make food start seeming weird. No fucking Rocco's Basilisk shit, thanks.
And then a question for Radd, which you kind of already answered. Anyway, Radd, could you update us on how podcasts like your own podcast projects, like FUA and Hymns for the Road, have been to produce / potted your cast? I don't know what the last part of that sentence was. But she already answered that question at the top, so you're welcome.
I sure did.
Say anything else about your
Yeah.
awesome work?
Don't do a Kickstarter.
Oh.
Is there a follow up to that?
It was
You
just
don't want competition?
no. It just it sucked. It was the most stressful month of my
I
entire
bet.
life.
I bet.
That sounds horrible, yeah.
It sounds like
And
a contest,
the government
only
took a
worse.
shit ton of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, did you
Just
want
if
to?
you're
Did you
going
want
to do a Kickstarter, know what you're getting into, because it's harder than you think.
Getting people to pay you to make stuff is harder. I would imagine in general.
Yes,
I'm
it
sure
is.
there's a lot of problems with it. I did think for a second you were going to go into like a taxation is theft rant. The government took a lot of it.
I mean, listen.
Listen.
Taxation is theft when all of it's going to the military.
Well,
Fucking right.
that's true.
Good point.
That's true.
Taxation does not have to be theft. Currently, it is.
Currently, a big portion of it is, yeah. All right. So
Sometimes it's
the
murder.
if you want to send an email to the show, and it doesn't even have to be about the subject. It's nice that everyone does, but you could just send us general questions, and we would be glad
You
to
hear
read
us, you
them.
hear my random shit that I
You
say.
Yeah.
You don't need to be on point.
Yeah.
You should send a lot of emails about spiders, and cannibalism.
Nope. I'm not gonna get read.
You should put spiders ! In the subject line, and then when you open it up, it just says cannibalism.
If the subject line is not "there are spiders in this email," then I'm not opening it.
You should
just
put
break into
in the
people's
subject
houses.
line. You should put very important request, semicolon, and then when you open it up, you should put some instructions in there of how to dig a hole in your backyard.
Oh. Where's this going? I need to know what happens next.
Are you okay? Do you need us to call someone?
That's the whole joke.
Well,
It's
bravo.
gonna pull it
Bravo. The
God
show.
damn it, I'm laughing so hard at my own joke that I'm making myself cry again.
No, that's
This is a regular
good.
occurrence.
That's
It's been an
good.
emotional time.
I will say that let's plug some Twitters because that's how we keep people invested in the show or whatever or aware of the show.
Yeah, let's make sure we're tied to the success or failure of Twitter.
No, we'll just switch it to Tumblr or whatever. But
What other T things going on?
anyway, at SimCreate, so that's SIMCREAT or at Grigori Karpin for Twitter stuff.
For Twitter stuff, at HarryBlank SCP.
Also, I do have a Tumblr now, and it is also at Grigori Karpin.
Wow, you are just becoming more and more of a young woman as time goes by, eh?
Is that who uses that? Do you want to make that blanket of a statement? Only young.
That Harry blanket of a statement.
Harry
right.
Blank.
Oh.
Harry Blank.
First Harry
We have
Blank I've ever heard.
important questions must be answered. Do you only feel like women use Tumblr?
No, actually, I think it's mostly young men who are into like My Little Pony or something. So I take that back.
Wow, you are like 15 years behind.
Yeah.
Well, I generally speaking am. Yes. Thank you for pointing it out so brutally.
Anyway, I know, Radd,
I'm
you're.
coping with the fact that I'm chronically online.
Yeah.
I know you're like, fuck Twitter, and yeah, fuck Twitter. But also, did you want to give out any of your social media?
Yeah, my handle is Raddagher, Raddagher, on like pretty much everything. But
Good branding.
if you want to like keep up with like the actual news, I just started a like real email list on findusalivepodcast.com.
Yeah.
So that's where like the actual updates will be if you want to subscribe to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, thanks for having me on. This was
Of
a lot
course.
of fun.
Anytime.
Yeah, literally. Any
Come
other
back
subject
soon.
you want to come on, please come back.
Absolutely.
I think we should have a mean episode where we take our own articles and we distribute.
Oh, our own articles. That's pretty good.
And by our
Alright.
own, I mean just yours, not mine, because all mine are good.
Just Grigori's. We'll have just a lower Grigori self-esteem episode because he's just got too much self-esteem.
Yeah, that's my problem.
50,
That's my problem. My articles are
Grigori.
too well rated. That is my problem, definitely.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna make sure we fix that.
Great.
We're gonna make sure we fix that by all getting banned from the wiki for brigading Grigori.
That would be the funniest possible way for me to get kicked off of the wiki.
Like, I'm sorry, you were part of a downvote brigade for your co-host, and you, sir, you were downvote brigading your own things? Yeah, it's called a joke. It's a joke. Jesus.
We did it for the bit. You don't understand.
Banned. All right,
We're
Harry. I
serious
expect that numbers station broadcast on my desk by Monday.
Yeah, no, your birthday's in like November or something.
2, 3, 5.